Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our Shadowrun Excommunication series. We're very excited. This is an 8-part series, and I am honored, as always, to be at the table with these fine folks. We had an incredible session last session. It was all combat, but very fun, narrative, cinematic combat, which we love here at Realmsmith. Just so everybody knows at home, for those of you that play Shadowrun or are interested in learning more about it, we are playing Anarchy, mostly from a mechanical perspective, which is an alternate rule set for 5th edition Shadowrun. We've also injected some 6th world stuff, and the reason we did that is because we're new to Shadowrun and we wanted a less kind of crunchy, sort of more easy to more accessible for a beginner or for a starting group of players, and then we'll add and grow as we do. If you're interested in joining our giveaway, you can enter Excommunication, all one word, EXCOMMUNICATION, into the chat, and you will get the beginner box, which I don't have right here, but we will do. Rem is going to run it to us. Hey, Rem. Yay, Rem. Okay. Anyways, you will get one of these in the mail. Shadowrun 6th World Beginner Box from Catalyst Games. It's a great way to jump in as well as a beginner. Lots of stuff in there. That's awesome. So make sure you add that into the chat. Also check out the after show. Make sure that you do that on the Catalyst YouTube channel after this episode airs. Basically, the after show is a live after show where we talk rules and discuss what happened in the episode and some of the rules, the changes and things that we've done, and it's going to be great. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe over there and follow them, as well as, if you like what you see tonight, make sure that you subscribe and share and all of that wonderful stuff. Bluetooth, the Matrix wants to speed up the announcement, apparently, in this time. Anyways, without further ado, let us venture into the shadows. All right, we are back. Last we left you all, you were in the thick of it, in the mess of it.
In the thick of it?
You into the thick of it? Sure were. You found yourselves out in front of an apartment building where a lot of bad things happened. If you haven't seen episode 1, go back and see that. And that was actually a storyline that we started at San Diego Comic-Con just not long ago, and that episode should be on YouTube. If it's not, it will be soon, hopefully, and you can check that out. That was the first time we ever played together. It was our session 0 where we were actually playing and learning how to play for the first time.
On stage with like 40 plus people there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. You were surrounded by Lone Star Patrolmen who opened up the full gamut and couldn't hit you because the GM's dice weren't working. But it was great. It was awesome. It was yeah, it was action-packed. And you managed to escape
with the help of our incredible friend.
Incredible troll friend.
Yeah, your troll friend Outlaw, who has an interesting connection to some of you that you learned about. At this point, the dust has settled. You kind of regrouped up the street a little bit. You absolutely heard sirens in the distance. You know that they're still looking for you. You know they are coming. And Frayne had asked if Outlaw had maybe a safe house or somewhere you could duck into in order to kind of get out of the thick of what was going on and maybe under the radar of some of the law enforcement that is on your tail. That is where we left off. That is where we leave you. You are currently on your way. You are following Outlaw. He is weaving in and out of certain streets, and you can tell by the way that he's navigating the streets and navigating the city of Seattle that he knows where cameras are and where sensors are, and so it's a really roundabout, weird route that he's taking. But you know, and from being taught by him and trained by him, that that he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, he pulls into an alley. Part of the wall, being a false SWAT call, kind of pulls away. He pulls in. You pull in after him. As it closes, you realize that it's like a high-tech sort of garage area. You know this place. You have, this is where he keeps his bike. This is where he works on his bike. And it's kind of the place where he comes to sort of, it's not his home, but it's his workshop. And where he works on his weapons. And you can see that there's weapon paraphernalia strewn about. It's dark, it's brooding, it smells of, you know, really bad whiskey, moonshine, and cigars. Some of you may feel at home. Some of you may be grossed out a little bit. But it's quite musty in here. It just fits his sort of, it's like Outlaw personified in here. Complete with taxidermy. And some of the taxidermy is kind of interesting, is like a mix between real and like ones that have had cybernetic augmentations. And so some of the, it's like, you know, post Shadowrun specific or Shadowrun fitting. As you kind of pull in, he nods at all of you. He tips the hat. You can see that he's injured and he excuses himself. Before he does that, he does explain to you that the reason why or how he heard about what was going on is he always keeps an ear on Frayne. He considers himself Frayne's guardian angel, as it were.
I'd prefer it if he didn't actually go around announcing that to everybody that we meet. It's a little embarrassing.
It's so cute, though.
I know. And when you say that, he kind of like tussles your hair and says, "It's all right." And then he kind of turns around and he heads out and he retires kind of into the back room as he kind of limps over to hopefully stitch himself up or whatever the case may be, or just rest.
I look behind him with concern as he limps away.
And as he limps away, I relax a little bit.
Okay. And this is visible. This is like visible to the party. Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody. And there's like a mattress. There's like a twin bed mattress in the corner with a blanket and a pillow that is, you know, looks like it needs to be washed. And I just go right over there and just throw my stuff on there because this is where I crash on occasion. All right. Well, what next?
Trigger has been uncharacteristically quiet the entire drive to this safe house, and after the outlaw takes off, she looks for a corner and just goes by herself to try to access whatever data's on doesn't there. Say anything, just like makes a beeline. You could see she's shaken for many reasons. She's just visibly very, very, very shaken.
Sure. Okay. With a cursory sort of surface glance at the data, you see all the things that you already know. So that is that you've been excommunicated. There's been a price on your head that has been pushed out on all of your heads. That has been pushed out to the Shadowrun community. And go ahead.
I mean, the data that I downloaded.
So some of that data was part of that file.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you want to access deeper, then you'll do a hacking skill, and then I'll let you know what you. If you want to use a tracking, you can track the data and get admin level access. So right now you're at user level access. In order to get admin, you got to kind of crack it.
I just turn over my shoulder and don't look at anyone per se, and I just say very quietly. She says, "I'm sorry, I fragged it up," and then immediately go in.
Okay. All right. And again, AR-wise, just do a hacking skill or use one of your programs. And so you could use maybe a track skill, and you can kind of track the information if you want to use that, because that'll give you a bonus.
Right.
Or it's just straight hacking.
Yeah. Let me just use it. I'll use a track skill.
Yeah. So it's hacking. Yeah, it's hacking plus logic, and then just whatever bonuses you get from your track.
Oh, that's hot coffee.
Oh, goodbye.
It is gone.
Okay, that's no more. So that was how many now? Because I lost that one.
1, 2, 3, 4,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, and then I'm going to re-roll 2.
Nice.
All right, so I have 3.
Okay.
3 hits.
So how many in all?
3.
3? Okay. You're distracted,
Yeah.
and you're not quite clicking, but you do just manage to, you feel like you just managed to slip through and get access.
Excellent.
It's like just by the skin of your teeth. And you realize a couple things. First off to the side, always in your interface, there's always a god level.
Right.
You left a mark already once, and now this is your second mark that you've left in the grid
Right.
for the grid Overwatch division. If it gets to a certain number, which is 40, sorry, that was 3. I don't remember how many you hacked there. Let's say you're at 8 of 40. And once you get to 40, it triggers something and God comes after you.
And is there any way to reset?
Yes, and so you would have to try, and she can reset it with an ability. It resets over time on its own. It kind of like it's a declining level, or you can try and hack it and do it, but then it causes potential other issues.
Right. Okay.
But it will over time come down.
Okay.
And it usually takes a day or two to kind of
All right. So that's not
replenish.
too bad. All right.
I can send a friend to clean up some of that
Oh, excellent.
trace.
Some of that
yeah,
stuff.
some of that mess.
Okay. So I'm at 8 of 40. So
Yeah.
what do I
Yeah. So
see?
you learn a couple things. The first is that you were excommunicated, or rather, let's say double crossed by one of the Big 10 corporations.
It's not surprising.
In Shadowrun, obviously it's run by the Big 10. They're part of a court of sorts who manage and basically dictate the laws and the way that the world works at large. And there's a number of corporations. There's lots of information on them. If you want any information on any of them, we can give you that. But bottom line, one of the Big 10 was it, but you don't know which one.
Okay, but we do know that we hacked into a Horizon building.
It was a Horizon building that you were at. Yeah, it was a Horizon dormitory almost
Okay.
that you were at for Horizon employees. General price has been put on your heads at 50,000 new yen each.
How, in the grand scheme of things, how impressive is that?
Considering your job, I think, was 2,000 new yen that you just did, it's fairly significant.
Wow.
But to put a hit on somebody is pretty expensive.
Okay.
And so I'd say that's on the lower end of a hit scale, but it's...
Our job was 2,000, but we got 1,500 up front, right?
Yeah.
What did we get up front?
We got something up
1,500
front.
We did get money up front.
Yes, we did.
Just good that we did.
We all negotiated that beautifully.
Why, thank you. All right. Okay.
Okay. The other thing that you notice that is incredibly interesting is that there was a mark left behind in the matrix of who was responsible for doctoring that data.
Excellent.
And immediately you realize and understand why it's so obvious. The avatar is that of a large gauntleted fist with like spikes on it. And that is the clear icon of a hacker named Bitbucket.
Bitbucket?
Yeah, Bitbucket. Bitbucket is an orc decker who has a rival hacker that is considered like the best orc decker there is. And he's always in competition and trying to one-up him. So he's much less careful when he does certain things, but he's really good at what he does. And it's clear that his mark is on that data. You don't necessarily know why. You think it
So
means
it's not
that
like these guys are like, you know, Captain Picard and Q. It's not like they're like always fucking with people's lives just to one-up each other. He actually does jobs.
there's a rivalry. Yeah,
There is a rivalry,
yeah.
but this isn't automatically about the rivalry. Like I'm
No,
not used to this.
no.
Oh,
He's
okay,
just
okay.
well known because
He just
of
likes to show off.
he likes to show off.
He's a little
to
Banksy-ass.
He wants to be the best, and so he makes people know what he does to be the best. But this was deep enough that most people wouldn't know that this is the case. You've dug deep enough to
Gotcha.
find his mark.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what you get from the data that you have.
Okay. If I had rolled higher, would I get more data? Just so I understand how that works. Okay. I can always go back.
Typically,
so that's
yes.
so that's just a cursory look. I'm shaken. I'm pissed. I pull back out. Probably I come out of the matrix too soon to get more information.
Yeah.
I'm a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And if you don't know what that meant, that's good. You're clean rates. Anyway, I came out and I'm just.
Hey, you need something? You want? Look, I practically live here part time. So if you want one of
I didn't get it all. I didn't get it all.
What did you get? Well, what did you get?
I got this price on our head. There's a 50,000 yen price on our head.
Who screwed us over?
Someone of the Big Ten. Don't know which one. And I don't know if you've ever heard the name Bitbucket, but he's the one that placed it there.
Bitbucket. Does Bitbucket ring a bell to any of us?
I would say none of you that, except maybe you. Maybe. You may have heard Bitbucket kind of on the lips of people as a famous hacker just because you're familiar with the Matrix.
The point is, it's bad. It's really, really bad. If someone's got Bitbucket working for them, they've got the best. Or at least one of the two best.
Does it mention Torin?
Nothing about Torin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I fragged it up.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
I should have gotten the full data. I'm sorry. Like, she's so... Like, almost seems like a kicked dog ever since she saw Outlaw. Like a dog that's been kicked too often.
I'm making you a drink.
Well, why weren't you able to get all of the data? Was there like a block? What's the situation?
Because the explosion took out the CPU, took out the unit before I could get it all. I thought I called it right. I called it wrong. I made a mistake. I called it wrong.
No. Wait. What's happening? You're taking too much on yourself. Everything was happening so fast.
It's because I'm not the boss. I'm not.
None of us are the boss.
I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be boss. I don't want to be... Look, I told us what to do. I started putting together a plan. But nobody was jumping in. I'm a big mouth. I talk a lot, but I shouldn't be trusted to make decisions. I make at least 2 terrible decisions every single day. No one should be listening to me. People should just be telling me what to do.
I'm listening to you right now. Beat yourself up, and it's not necessary. We all made little mistakes there. It's part of what running is.
Part of the job.
You did good.
Yeah, part of the job is that, like, we have to act fast. None of us, all of us wing it to some extent at all times. You shouldn't be that hard on yourself.
You shouldn't. None of us should be that hard on ourselves because I believe that this was a setup.
Oh, 100%.
The fact that Torin's not even on there tells me, why is he not on that list with us? Torin gave us this job.
That's who to blame.
Why is Torin not on that list with us? Blackballed from the industry.
Torin's too small to have put something like this together.
Then he was just a puppet, and someone else is behind this.
I think
doesn't mean he didn't have anything to do with it.
Maybe whoever's paying attention realizes that I'm not next to you all. I haven't said anything. I've slumped into a corner. I look like I'm dying, and that ichor is in my face. And you hear what brings your attention to me is you hear.
I run over.
I'm all right. You see a handkerchief, a little bit of blood, wipes it off, puts it back into the jacket. No one's ever accused me of being a thinking man. But I will say this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're all still here, boss. You did the thing. Now, seems to me we're in agreement. Someone set us up. We know that fragger. Skelly's got something to do with it. You mentioned the name, something Bucket.
Bitbucket.
We start there. We find them, her, them. We ask why.
We're finding
Bitbucket?
Finding Bitbucket, it might be a little bit harder than you think. They're one of the best hackers there is. They've got a rivalry going with number 2 or number 1, depending on who's going on any given day.
That's where we start.
I don't mess with the Matrix much, but doesn't that tell us that, you know, there's a place to start with Bitbucket then? If he's leaving behind in any competition,
start with Bitbucket though.
He's got to be somewhere.
We start with his rival. We go there.
Oh shit.
We find out where he would be, where it could be, his haunts.
Do we know that information?
Do we know who he's in rival with?
If he's leaving, if their game is all about leaving marks so that they can one up each other, then I'm sure when we get into the Matrix, we can.
I'll get that information for you. 1 second.
Thank you.
We could ask Frenchie. Because Frenchie called me right in the middle of shit.
Who's Frenchie?
Frenchie is my connection to weapons. Like, he just is a supplier.
It just showed up.
He showed up.
He didn't, well, he was apparently called right when he was a building over, which I find super sus. But to be fair,
He was there?
he keeps an eye on situations too, because he's an opportunist. He's like, oh, I can help you for this. So I'm not sure how much, I'm not ruling him out, but he could be a source of information if we're looking for Bitbucket's rival.
How much money do we all have right now?
Got the
That's a
50.
very private
Is it
private
really?
information. I
I'm
think,
immediately
Bull. Bull is the name of the other
Bull?
orc. Yeah.
Do we remember what we got paid up front?
1,500.
1,500, yeah.
But we also have, it's on here.
Is that included in our current wealth?
I've got,
I think that's in addition to what's
is that in addition
right?
to this, or is that what's
Yeah.
on our character sheets?
Yeah. In addition to what's on your.
In addition?
So far, sneaky, suspicious people are Torin, who sent us on this mission in the first place.
Right,
We got Frenchie, who just happened to be there building over.
right.
We have possibly the rival of this, or Bitbucket, can give us some information.
Well, there are many ways to skin a cat. Your boy is pay to play. We
Yep.
pool our funds, we make him an offer, we see if he has information regarding this bucket guy and whoever the hell the rival is. Bull,
Works
we
for me.
find out why. We're persona non gratis at the moment. We gotta stay low. But time's a ticking.
Right.
Let's start there then.
Yeah.
You know how to get to him?
Oh yeah, and she like taps her little comm piece on her ear, and just like his avatar holographic just flashes over in front of my face, and y'all can see his face on my and like his name.
Do we go to him in person? Is it close by?
I just, you know what? I just text him at this point, and I'm like, on my way. Don't disappear. Are you okay?
I'll be fine.
With my biotech skill or anything, with my medical skill, can I just, like, if I'm giving him the once over without, I just want to. Does he actually seem like there's something?
Yeah.
that,
Give me a biotech check. Just leave it.
3, which is a logic-based. Well, it's a logic-based skill, not test. Can I use?
Yeah. So
animalism
biotech, whatever the
It's just
in
an
the
automatic
parentheses,
that. Okay,
parentheses, you
then it's
get.
3.
Yeah. Sorry, three hits. I would say with 3, you can tell that what he has is something he's had for a while. Like, it doesn't seem like it was injuries caused by the current combat. You could tell it's an affliction of some sort.
Okay.
Even with the 3, because it's very visible, you can see that there are like black veins
Yeah.
that kind of like reach up his neck that look like, again, not like they're temporal, but that they've been there for some time and have been building for some time. He's afflicted with something.
Right. And so I do my best to not draw any more attention to
Okay.
that.
Okay. So the plan is to go to visit Frenchie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know
Did
where?
Frenchie answer?
Oh, yeah, he texted back.
Yeah.
I
He
just
said text back. He said one moment, and he said yes.
So we're going to his place where his territory, his boutique.
If people are after us and they know the two of you are connected, how safe is it?
I mean, as safe as 5 people who have a hit on their heads have a chance of going anywhere.
Would he give us up?
I'm sure he would for the right price.
So we beat the
We
price.
got a big price on us.
Now, knowing him, he's going to definitely use that to his advantage and try to bleed us for whatever we have, but
How
We
much do
don't
you
have-
trust him?
I mean, at this point, besides everybody sitting right here, I don't know who to trust. So I would keep information to a minimum, see what he can tell us.
I'll tell you one thing I learned from our buddy Outlaw that helped us, who's patching himself out there, the back room. He once told me if you ever need to have a conversation with someone that you don't trust, then you don't have it on their territory. You go and get them when they're not looking and take them somewhere that you know is safe.
I like the way that sounds.
Does anyone else have a safe house other than here that we can take him to?
This is the only safe house that I know of, right?
I might know
Yeah,
somebody.
you have your residences. All of you have fake sins, so it depends on whether or not they know who you really are, where you really live. There's chances, obviously, your place has been compromised because all of your belongings were in the apartment that you were just.
Yeah, I haven't told them about that yet.
We got to assume
Like,
worse.
does kidnapping within the Matrix work? Is that a thing?
If he was in VR, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Get him to
if you
meet
could,
you in VR.
yeah, you could absolutely potentially, but they'd have to be in VR as well.
Let's get him in there.
Can you get him to meet you there?
I'll try. I'll
Can
give him.
I
I'll give
help?
him a. I'll give him a. I'll give him a place.
I'll help
Okay.
however I can.
Do you want to? Is there any place you could be nearby where you can be within earshot, or?
GM, is there anywhere nearby where I could be in earshot in the
Yeah.
Matrix?
Basically, I mean, you
Matrix is
you
wide
have your
open.
host, right?
Yeah.
And so you can create a construct or have constructs saved. You probably have a bunch of different places that look like the real world of varying degrees.
And that I would have a firewall up on, and that's
yeah,
the
it's
only way
just
people...
like another movie of the same name, where
Yes.
basically, like when you go in, it feels like the real world. It can feel like
Right.
a video game.
Right,
it can
right,
feel
right.
2-bit. It can feel 6-bit, whatever. But you can say, oh, I want to meet in my bar construct, or I want to meet in my bowling.
Okay,
gotcha.
so let's say that I've met Frenchie several times in like this avatar like noodle shop that I
Okay.
hang out in.
Okay. So it's a virtual noodle shop.
It's a
on the
virtual noodle
Matrix.
shop, yeah.
Okay.
And like I'll be sitting along a bar, and like he would know like that's the place to meet.
Sure. Okay. So you tell them to meet you there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we change up our avatars? Is that ever a thing?
Yeah.
Or is that...
Yeah.
You
okay.
absolutely can.
I'm gonna change up my avatar to be a dude in a suit. I want to
Okay.
be a suit.
Okay. The only thing is that you two are the only ones that can go into full VR. You can as well because you have a head jack. You can't because you have no data jack.
Right. So
and
it's
you
just the
can't
two of
either
us.
'cause you don't
So
have a
it's
jack.
just the two
So
of
the
us. in
three
there.
of you can go actually go
If
into
something goes-
VR.
If
The
something...
rest of you can, but you have to go somewhere to like put like an old school
Right.
VR helmet, which actually puts you in to SimSense.
I want to propose something that could overcomplicate this, but since I definitely am not the boss, please feel free to override me. We got a team that can infiltrate and that can interface with him via the Matrix. Does that then buy two of us that won't necessarily be joining the Matrix an opportunity to go and actually get the person himself
The meat
when he's
sack.
busy? Get that meat sack and bring him back here when he's preoccupied with us in the Matrix, and then we can have a real conversation with him face to face, somewhere that he has never been to before and didn't even know how the fuck he got here.
I like that.
I like it, but
It's dangerous.
Just devil's advocate, I feel like someone like him would have someone protecting his meat sack. Like, this doesn't sound like a guy who just leaves his sack running around. Yeah, I said it.
Or, conversely, he's arrogant enough to not have anything at all.
Listen, we all know the risks. Assess the situation accordingly, and if it's a bust, then get your ass back here.
Yeah.
We got 2 ways to get to him at least.
I like it.
I'll stand up from the corner I've been sitting in and crack all the back muscles, shake out my knee. Anyone got any aspirin in this thing?
I hand over the painkiller that I've got.
Anybody who has a med kit would have painkillers.
I chew them.
Yeah.
I saw earlier the drink that Outlaw gave him, and I know where to find it. So I'm gonna go fix him up with a little bit of that. Since you liked that earlier.
I
Here you go.
appreciate it, son.
Hand it to you.
I'm not good with my words, but you all held yourselves well. I'm glad it was you all in the shit. and I'll walk outside.
Okay.
And
all right. So
while we're in there, just to cover our tracks, I'll summon my friend to cover our tracks because he's able to do so.
You little
He's a cleaner.
friend. Oh.
Yeah.
Not
Nice.
not the sprite thing.
He is a sprite.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So just in case we're being followed,
It's very
you know,
cool.
and he'll help us cover our tracks. So if there's anybody else looking for us there, they won't find us.
Hell yeah.
Sounds good.
While one team is in the Matrix and the other is not doing these sort of parallel things, are we still able to have our comms active and communicate to each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matrix is just this telephone network, basically.
Great.
So we can
still
talk
talk to each other.
outside
Yeah.
of the matrix when we're in the matrix.
Also, because I have a chameleon suit, and I'm able to, it scans the surroundings and replicates an image to scale. Would I be able to put that into, as I'm scanning my surroundings, would I be able to put that in through comms so that people who are not in the Matrix are able to see where we are and what we're doing, so that they know if shit hits the fan, get the meat sack?
I'm gonna say
Stuck on
that
millions.
given your, I would say the typical way that you would do that is you would transmit to some sort of display outside of the matrix.
Yes.
Because of your ability,
That's
you can
what I'm
like
saying.
reach out and you can project
Yeah.
to like a screen that is in the shop, for example, or in the car. There
Okay.
would be like a display, and she can actually, you can take a monitor or something, and she's able to project the signal so you can watch what they're seeing in the
Like
matrix.
in real time.
Oh.
As we're, yeah.
So
Like
when
a-
we
like a
hop in the car,
So you
that
guys,
center console will be displaying what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
so you wouldn't come with us to the matrix?
I'm gonna interface in and out. I'm gonna see if I could, as needed, jump into the Matrix from my jack in the car, but also help them get where they need to go quickly and get out quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have to jack in because you have a headwear and data jack. You can actually remotely connect to things.
Access the Matrix.
Yeah, access the matrix.
Okay.
Great.
So you can hardline if you need to, and that adds bonuses, but you don't have to. Anybody who has internal data jack can act, or an augmented internal comm link
Mhm.
can enter the matrix via VR through some sets.
Is that true also with my vehicles in? So I can stay here physically in the safe house and jump into my vehicle and take them there and back? Or does my body need to be in the trunk?
Your consciousness can only be in one place at a time. So it's either in the car or in the matrix.
Well, that's
Great.
all right, son.
But my meat sack doesn't have to be in the trunk of the car to do that.
No.
Great.
It does
I'm gonna stay here.
get harder and harder because you'll remember your checks will go from near to far to extreme far.
Yeah. The noise level.
The noise would
Copy
be
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
your noise would go up like
Then
through the
I'm
roof.
getting in the trunk, baby.
Yeah.
you
Blaze,
say?
you do a
like
bunch
me.
of cool shit
I'll drive.
that we're not able to do. What do you want to?
Well, it sounds like we're heading out.
I saw what you did out there. I'd appreciate it to have someone like
Think-
you.
As
watching
long
my
as you
back.
guys, as long as you guys trust Outlaw, I don't know him, but if you guys trust him and this his safe house is good, I think we can hold our own.
This safe house is good, and the only people that we can trust right now are the people that are in this room.
It was Lord help Skelly if I get hold of him.
Likewise.
So
Okay.
it's you and me.
All right. So
Right.
that's the plan.
Yep.
Okay. Where are you going to be in safe space while you go into the matrix? You're just going to stay in Outlaw's
street,
spot?
In the
In
safe
the safe
house.
house.
Yeah.
Okay. Where about in the safe house?
So right now in the safe house, we're like in just like a general.
yeah, there's like a little lounge area with like a couple beat up couches with a coffee table.
So that's like a public-y area of the safe house. If someone else,
It's one big room. It's just like a
one big room.
garage
Okay,
with
okay.
with a hidden wall.
I mean, I guess
False wall.
I'll stay near the mattress for comfort.
okay, you're gonna lie down on the mattress. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
Or yeah.
maybe not like just sitting
Prop
up against
yourself
the wall,
up against
prop
the
up.
wall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think just seated comfortably.
On the couch. Okay.
Sure.
All right. You
Getting into the car, into the trunk, my little compartment, and waiting for these two to jump in. So we're gonna
So-
head towards where you told us
and then you're gonna join the matrix later if you need to.
if I need to.
If you need to.
So
Okay.
our comms are all up, so for sure.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. So, at this point, it is your construct that you've created in the Matrix. So you would
Yes.
be leading. It would be within your host.
Yeah.
And so you'll be jumping in with her, and you can actually. She doesn't actually have hardware to do
Right.
that, so you can just virtually. Typically, a data jack actually has like a cord that you can actually like plug in and like network together
Right.
and do stuff.
But
You
she
can't do
doesn't.
that, but you can do that virtually.
Yeah.
It's just not as hard a connection.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
So go ahead.
Usually in the Matrix, I appear as like just like an anime version of myself, but I think since we are undercover, I will probably appear as this like very frail elderly woman.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that's great. And is this a public host where other people can come as well, or is this just a? Are there any? Well, let's get to that.
Okay.
You go into your sense. What does your lobby basically within the Matrix in your host look like? Much like hers looks like Tron, what does your lobby look like?
Mine looks like a very 70s, like very like palatial house that would like from the 70s though, like so 70s fireplace,
Shag carpet,
yeah. Like a bar.
Yeah, I love it. And as you kind of get in, it's like a living room sort of area. It's got multiple doors out of it. Yeah. And typically what you do is you see the Matrix different. So even though it appears that way to you, so you obviously get it, you get in and it's like this really impressive palatial sort of lounge area. And you see what you see as almost real. It's like almost like you can touch things. Yeah. There are little pop-ups and little like avatars and little notifications for different things within the Matrix at this point. You see code. It's almost like, again, basically like you see past the construct and are able to manipulate it. Yeah. And the way you typically do that is you're like, I want to go to this noodle store. You can either get out and walk along the street, or you can open the door and it's the door to the noodle shop, and you step into the noodle shop and you close the door behind you. And so you're constructing and you're traveling. You can travel as quick or as long. We're
going to go through the kitchen refrigerator that's going to open right into the noodle shop.
Okay, I love it.
And as this is happening, I'm just looking around like, this is very different from what I'm used to, and I've never been inside a technomancer's.
I mean, the beautiful thing is that you can make it anything you want. Like it's just numbers.
Actually does this, it like changes the colors of the, like for you to build a construct takes time. You sit down, you program it. She's just changing wall colors with like a swipe of her hand.
Right, okay, all right, no need to show off.
Oh, I should say, I should probably introduce you to my friend. And so now once that we're in the Matrix, I summon my sprite, my technomancer sprite. His name is Glorp. He's a tiny, because he's a small creature. He is like, looks like a very dingy, hasn't showered in like probably a couple of weeks. Beer belly, like plumber's crack showing, it says like a greasy sparse comb over, smoking a cigar, but has very dainty like fairy wings. And he's just kind of like hovering in the Matrix there. He's like, what do you want? I'm not on the clock yet. Actually, I am on the clock. You are on the clock because I just summoned you, and so therefore you are technically on the clock whenever I summon you. So your shift starts now.
I'm immediately going through my last 24 hours and wondering if I took something or drank something.
Glorp, Trigger Glorp. How you doing?
Right. You all right?
So Glorp, you got an easy job tonight. All you have to do is just erase that we were ever here, so that the gods or God doesn't see, in case anybody is following us, you know, nobody knows that we're here. And he goes, I don't see nothing.
I love it. All right.
All right.
And you walk over to the door that is typically leads to this host kitchen, and you literally just do one of these things. And I would even say that door changes to the outside door. So the color of the door changes. It is now like a glass, basically swinging door, and you see a noodle shop beyond. And there's like mist that is kind of like, because of the steam in the place, it's kind of like fogging it up. And as you open it up, you get this waft of ramen that hits you, and it's kind of this warm, sort of like soothing feeling that comes over you.
Amazing. Right, Grandma, should I take your arm, or you want me to hang
shit,
behind?
Yeah, that's right. For a second, I forget that I'm like in this form, and like I just kind of hunch over. All of a sudden, a cane appears, and I do take your arm.
Right.
And I am now matched. Are you very tall in this scenario?
I'm like a normal-sized human gentleman,
and I'm very small in stature.
Right. I love it. Okay, you step over the threshold into the noodle shop. if you could describe what this noodle shop is.
It's like you are transported in time to like an old Kurosawa film. It's almost for a second glitches from black and white back into color, back into black and white, back into color.
Awesome.
And it almost goes from like modern, like Blade Runner-y over to like back to Kurosawa, back and forth until it like kind of settles somewhere in between.
Love that.
Wow.
Are there virtual people in this shop?
Yes, there are a few people seated, like hunched over, sipping noodles, and I said, "Oh, don't worry," and I like basically just put my hand through all of them, like all of them from their from behind, just like as though I was like cutting butter with a blade. They're just here for ambiance.
As you do that, from the back of the room, you see an individual kind of pop up and kind of like wave as he knows that he was expecting you. He's hoping that this was you. And right now, I'd like to introduce Joel Auger, of course.
Oh!
Who is co-founder and owner of Rumsmith and also a member on our Into the Mist stream for Christmas Strahd. Welcome. And he will be playing Frenchie.
Bonjour, Frenchie. Oh,
Hey, have your face melted
boy.
off?
Yes. Yes, ready. Always ready.
Right.
All right. Okay. As you see him in the back corner, what do you do?
I go and just make a beeline, sit down, get real serious. Well, thanks for not bailing on this.
Well, I mean, you know, it's good to make some money. And I'm here for friends because friends have money.
Are we friends, Frenchie?
I mean, dude, I would hope that after all the dealings we've had together, you know, like whenever you're in a pickle jar, you know, that means it's a pickle jar. Just so you know, it's a metaphor for like really hot water, little bit of spice, little bit of dill, and that's hot in there. So that's, you know, I come around when my friends are in trouble. I don't hate trouble.
How did you know we were in trouble, though?
Oh, that's easy. Everyone else has totally told everyone else that you guys are been excommunicated. so it's like it's not like not news that some of the greatest currently are on the market. You know, to me that's just an opportunity to make things happen. Financially speaking.
Is there a sus check we could do? Like,
Yeah, can I do that's exactly right. I want to do a perception check or something on this
I would
dude.
say perception check for sure.
Excellent.
Okay.
Which is willpower plus logic.
Yeah, I would say, if you want to help each other, you can do that, or you can do it
Okay.
individually.
Did I still
Yeah,
lose
let's do
1, 2,
individually.
4, 5,
See.
6, 7, 8, 10, 12. Okay, great. So
By the way, he's wearing a
Yeah, so what do they see?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
a full Roman Catholic nun's habit,
Yes.
and yet hasn't changed any of his facial features.
I love everything about
So
that.
is it like an attempt to hide, or is it just
Two.
blatant that he's just doing?
He's just ridiculous.
So is it his real face? Which
His
is wearing?
actual face,
Fuck.
but
Oh
he's
my
wearing
God.
a habit.
And what does his
There you
face
go.
look like? What is it? What
And
are his
then I-
Yeah, he's you know, Caucasian male, mid 50s,
Human?
human, looks like he has literally smoked 400 packs of cigarettes this week. Like just leathery skin. That's what he looks like.
facial hair with the habit?
Facial hair, like more stubble
Okay.
than proper beard. Really thin, slim looking, and is wearing this ridiculous habit.
Okay. I got 5 successes. on
I
that.
got 5 successes as well.
Wow. All right. You get the sense that he's telling the truth, actually. You get the sense that he is an opportunist, and that he saw you were in trouble, and he heard that, and he trusts you, and you are a client, and he keeps an eye on his clients.
Well, Frenchie, I think we could probably help each other out.
That's good news to me.
I want to know if you could help us find who set us up to this.
That's gonna be quite expensive. Sheesh. I mean, I have some leads. It's not something I can do at the moment's notice, like just drop of a hat.
Okay. Well, what do you know about who is Big Bucket's rival?
Oh,
Well, yeah. So you would have heard of them. None of them are your client.
Yep.
You're kind of at the lower level, client level. You're trying to kind of work yourself up the ladder. You, as I mentioned before, kind of specialized in gear and sourcing gear. Sometimes you're a fixer, and so sometimes you deal in information, but typically mostly in goods. And sometimes you have jobs, but like, again, you get your clients to do jobs for you at times. And maybe one day you'd like to be a Mr. Johnson or a fixer, but for right now, you're a fixer who focuses on gear. You're a guy who gets things.
Well, listen, I can't. I probably can't. You know, if I'm honest, and I tend to be honest with my my clients. I probably won't be able to get you the information that you need, but I can get you whatever else you might need for the pickle jar you find yourselves currently boiling in.
is there anything you can do to help us, disguise ourselves or cover our tracks in the real world?
That is the right question. Yes, there's always something I can get you. Again, takes a little bit of time, but we've got plenty of time. Your lives are still here. You're all breathing. And that's, by the way, the word we use for when air comes in and out, not
breathing.
Yes,
got it.
Everyone
I had
gets it
questions,
wrong.
but all right.
That's what I meant. Gearless.
Yeah. So from your perspective, you 1 sec. Let me just take a look here at something. You, as far as gear goes, things that usually typically are for disguise are usually some sort of biotech or cybernetic. You deal more in weapons and vehicles and things like that.
Yeah.
When that happens, though, you remember that one of your contacts is Daktari, who is a dwarf who is a street doc. And he does like physical augmentations and all those sorts of things. And so can maybe do that. There is some image inducers and things like that, but they tend to be a little glitchy and not so great, but it's possible. There are like high-tech disguise kits and things like that, but again, he said it'll take a little time to
So
sort.
he's pretty much weapons and armor.
Weapons, armor,
that's it.
vehicles.
Armor. What about, do you think is there any other way, do you think we can retrieve information that you weren't able to retrieve?
That's a good question. I downloaded as much as I could from a particular system. I don't know if there's anything that you have that could enhance my ability to see more.
Well, let me check the list.
Okay. As they do that, let's go back to the rest of the team. As well, actually, I just remembered that you all spent karma to upgrade your characters.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
And what I like to do in our shows, anybody who's watched Into the Mist will know that I like to do narrative level ups or upgrades. And so I like to weave it into the narrative and make it story based and give it a reason. So you don't just wake up in the morning and you're better. And so if you could all just tell me what it was that you did, and then we will work it into the narrative throughout the session. So what was it again that you proved?
I took a new skill.
Yeah.
Stealth.
Rio took stealth. Got it. Okay.
I upgraded my cyber deck to 2.
Okay.
It was at 1.
Yeah.
My control rig is up from 1 to 2.
Okay.
I took a new skill, escape artist, so I can contort, get out of things, kind of like make a speedy exit.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I changed, modified my firebolt spell to be set to catch people ablaze. Basically, use plasma on them instead of just flame.
Yep.
Turn-based damage.
Awesome. So I'm going to say with all of these, at this point, Rio, training that you've done up to this point was a lot of brute force, right? You get in there, you make it happen. But you're realizing that in your older age, that maybe some finesse would help. And being a bit more quiet, you're incredibly agile, you're able to leap far distances and all of that. But you've been focusing on the art of stealth a lot more. And I'm going to say that just in this past combat, you understood the importance of it, and some of that training that you've been doing recently finally clicked. It was like in your mind, you're like, ah, I get it. And you're starting to use some of those tactics, and we'll say that you have the abilities and what comes with stealth. As far as Cyberdex goes, this is the man to help you with the Cyberdeck.
Right.
So I would say during this interaction,
that
happens, and that you're able to upgrade your Cyberdeck from a Model 1 to a Model 2,
right,
which gives you additional protection when you're hacking in the Matrix.
All right.
Sorry, Frayne, you updated your control rig?
Yep.
Same thing. So I would say that he can update, he can give you a firmware chip for that. You guys have spent karma, so there doesn't have to be money that changes hands. That is the thing, but you guys can have a conversation regarding that if you want, or we can just say it happened. But that is something that you did. And you're just like, you know what? Obviously, you're using your vehicle a lot. It was incredibly important. Your whole purpose, as you mentioned, is to be more machine.
Yep.
And dedicate yourself to as much as you can. And this is just a step in that direction.
Sounds good.
Liv, same thing. This is just building on your ability to get in and out of situations. You've been a cat burglar. That's in some ways how you've made your money before you became a Shadowrunner. And being an escape artist, after being surrounded by all those cops, is something that you've kind of started to train. And you're like, I need this in case we get caught. And it's can't come perfectly. For you, Blaze, there was a lot of fire in this last combat. And you started to be able to manipulate mana in a more powerful way, even surprising yourself. It's like this combat unleashed something inside you that allows you to access a deeper understanding of how to manipulate fire, which is why now you have a more powerful firebolt.
Cool.
So that is, you know, a little bit of an explanation. Sometimes you have to get a brand new piece of gear, and that is a bit more involved, but that is how, and then we can just enjoy the benefits of those as we move forward. We're going to say that at this point, you've asked for the cyber deck. He's given you firmware. You've asked for firmware for your control rig. He's upgraded your control rig. You guys can take it from there.
So for us, we've been patched in this entire time. So
yeah, sorry.
To this conversation.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go to the other two. So you guys are in the vehicle. Oh, sorry. You're not there, so you're not able to upgrade that.
That was
Yeah.
But I have. How about this? Because I think everything that how I continue to grow is greatly influenced by how everything Outlaw has taught me. And he's taught me how to pay attention to other people that are around me to see if I can learn anything from him.
Yeah.
Knowing that he wasn't always going to be the only person to teach me. And being able to jump into the Matrix in a sense, while I'm jumping into that drone, side by side trigger, hacking into that other drone, made something click for me.
Sure.
And through that kind of knowledge that I saw from experiencing, I learned what tweaks I can make to the control rig to enhance it just a little bit more.
Yeah, I love it. And I'll say that the time that you spent there allowed you to do a bit of tweaking to that, and you managed to upgrade it. That's a great idea.
So for us, while we're driving over there, you're gonna hear a voice in your head as we're patched in. Hey, is everything good with him? Are we suspicious? Or how's it going for you?
He's fine. This guy doesn't know anything.
No.
He seems innocuous. Might be able to get us some armor, some more firepower, but that's it.
Well, right now we're physically heading to where he is. We'll continue to be careful. Our eyes are open. But if there's any physical things that he can give us, then we will be there just in time for him to hand it off to us.
Ah, that makes sense.
At which point you actually pull up to the boutique in downtown Seattle. And it's this like very posh, sort of like Parisian sort of storefront that looks like a high-end like fashion store, but there's like guns in the window and like, you know, like, yeah.
Do I have any surveillance in my shop?
Absolutely. You absolutely do. At this point, though, you have left your meat sack behind, and you have locked. You have a variety of safe You have a variety of
Cool.
safety features.
You guys, is there anything that you are wanting to get from him? We could ask
Yes.
him. There is
I want smoke grenades.
smoke grenades.
Yes. If he has smoke grenades, I want them.
Right.
If he has anything that can help my vehicle cloak, I want that too.
Right.
We should probably stock up on some like flashbang, like flash
Yeah.
grenades. Some,
Love that.
Ladies, is this thing working? Can
It
you hear
is.
me?
It is. We've got you.
Maybe we should canary in a coal mine this situation here.
As you mean?
Trigger the alarm, give him our information, tell him we'll meet him at his place in a certain amount of time and see who shows up.
Trigger is all right.
We're already here. He
Get in
doesn't know we're
position.
here. We get in
Hide.
position, we hide, we watch out. Anybody shows up,
I'll be our eyes in the sky. Give us a heads up if someone's already heading towards us.
Sounds good.
Liv, you want to set a meet at his place?
Just tell him we'll meet him to pick up our stuff.
Yeah.
See if he's a
Right.
Yeah.
leaky faucet.
So I guess if you're gonna help us out with some gear, we can just head right on over to go pick it up.
Yep. If you want to meet at the place, you know where to find me. I'm always there. You know it.
Right. Then enjoy your noodles.
Thanks. They're so yummy.
Question.
Yes.
If he pops up in now the physical realm and we're there, their bodies are back at the safe house, but if they stay in the Matrix, would they still be able to potentially pick up signatures of other like cyberware or people if they're coming to us? Can they be a different set of eyes for us in the plane of the Matrix?
Yes. To an
So
extent.
we would stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Except
You
we
would get any data regarding potentially you'd be able to hack data and security systems from
Right.
inside the Matrix.
I don't know
Right.
if anyone's trying to hack in our direction.
So we'll
Yeah,
just pretend
or
like we're
anything.
leaving, and we'll let this guy pop off.
Yeah. So as we're leaving, we're getting up. We're walking past all the NPCs, but there is one with some wings that I kind of flick on the way out as we walk out or make our way
Right.
because he will be trailing us not far behind.
Likewise, ladies, is it working? Can you hear me?
Yep. We
Yeah.
got.
The next call he makes might be a very important one.
That's a good point. Can I? What do I have to spy on Duder? Can I? Is there any way within the Matrix
To spy on him?
to
Yeah.
spy on
Yeah.
him?
So proximity matters. So in the sense of when you get in the Matrix, you're actually in the area that we are. So if I were to jump in this room, I would feel the lights, I would feel my machine or whatever.
Right.
Then you have to travel or there's noise. And so the range still matters in the Matrix, but you can get there quickly. You can be like, okay, I want to
can
go to
get
this
there.
place.
We
And then
can-
open a door and
Yeah.
you go in, and then you can be in the virtual area of his shop as if you were shopping online. And then
Basically, I
run-
want to trail him.
Yeah.
Well, we can
without-
have Glorp do that if you.
you can
prefer.
bring up a directory of shops and do a search and find the boutique and Frenchie's boutique, and you can click on it and go there and then be in close proximity to his business.
And if you do so and you get to my shop in the virtual space, you'll see that every single price tag digitally is actually marked down by about 70%. But you'll also notice that every markup, everything is exceedingly expensive, just marked down 70%.
Yeah.
Yes. Delightful.
fake discounts.
Love that.
And typically when you go to a shop, it appears like a shop, and they've decided what that host looks like. And so when they appear at your storefront, what does that look like in the Matrix?
Yeah, I mean, you see just an abundance of all of the. Have you ever been to a military supply kind of shop,
Surplus shop, yeah.
like a surplus
Like an Army
store?
Navy surplus?
Right, this stuff that kind of is the throw-offs from anything they have in the real military. He has all that stuff at the front of the store.
Right.
Okay.
You'll see the walls, little booths and little shelves with all of the surplus stuff at the front. He sells through a bunch of that. All of the weapons, all of the gear, they're all behind these dirty glass windows lining the back of the shop, down the back sides of the shop.
So as I'm walking to get up to the shop and stuff like that on the corner, as we split directions and still visible to each other, obviously, I go ahead and activate my astral senses and peer into the astral realm. That's going to appear as as light coming out of my eyes as that is peering around. That's why he wears shades a lot, because then it hides that fact that he's, without fully diving in, that he's peeking behind that veil of the astral.
And then when we're in the Matrix and they're in the physical, speaking physically to Joel, are we just able to hear what's going on because we're in comms, or we just don't? We're not there.
You're not there.
Okay, just so I know not to jump in when I'm
But
not
he's
there.
still with us.
He is
Right
still
now.
with you. Yeah,
He's
right
still
now
with
he's
us.
still in the As you jump into the astral plane and start to see kind of through the veil, you're not jumping in, but you'll be able to see through the veil to the astral plane. What you notice is that it's a mirror image of the world that you're in, just slightly more drab. It's slightly more grayscale, and like an alternate version of the current reality. You also see spirits, astral creatures who are roaming the streets, those that have gone, those that are lingering. And you even notice that when you come into this space, that some of them turn and are aware of you. And they start to pass, and some of them nod. One of them even, lowers the brim of their hat as they continue to walk. And from all varieties of time frames. And so you see people maybe from the 50s, from the 60s, all in different types of clothing, and all in different from different time zones, not time zones. Eras. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
And time zones within those eras.
Exactly. The one thing that you do notice, sorry, that is all you notice from a basic, like on the cursory level. If you want to look a little bit further and kind of detect anything weird, if you can give me a sorcery plus logic roll for your kind of like astral perception, that would be great. Unless you have an ability or a shadow app that allow you to do anything different.
No, just astral combat is my only kind of astral skill on that one. 3 hits.
Okay. With 3 hits, the one thing you do notice is that there is a buzz nearby emanating from the building, from Frenchie's Boutique. That typically is in regards to some sort of astral sensor. So something that is intended to detect astral beings, or astral, the use of astral, or mana manipulation.
Okay.
What do you do?
So I'm only sensing the sensors inside the building.
Yeah, that's the only thing in the area.
So
other than the spirits who are roaming.
But they're not going in and out of his shop. There's nothing like posted in front of his door or anything. Cool. So I'll do that. I kind of turn on my
Actually, sorry. What you do notice is there is absolutely, as you look to your right, you see almost like an astral silhouette surrounding Rio. There is an energy that exists that is a little different than yours. And as you look at yourself, your essence, I imagine, on the astral plane kind of smolders slightly, like
almost about to catch on fire, but not
exactly, right? Like just boiling up under the surface.
Yeah.
You said it was a red energy that you emanated, right? What would your kind of astral essence look like?
Well, I don't think it's me. I don't, or I should say, Rio does not have an understanding of this astral energy in the same way that you would. And so I don't think that it's representative of me. I think it is representative of my ancestor, who guides me on this path.
So you actually see an astral being with its hands on his shoulders.
So like almost like, to me, for being a mage and peering into this constantly, kind of similar to like a spirit of man or a spirit of
guy, some sort of humanoid spirit.
You see a man with dark skin, dark complexion, or a spirit that would have a similar complexion to my own. But his hair, he's wearing a tribal war chief headdress. Or, an astral one with plumes, and in his hand he has a war club, and in his other hand a bow. And you can tell, you would be able to discern that this is a man way out of time. This spirit is way out of time. I mean, we're not talking 100 years, we're talking 500-600 years ago.
Yeah.
This entity would have existed.
Way beyond what. Yeah. Obviously, everything else walking the street doesn't even pale in comparison.
And there is a resemblance. You're not, there's a, I guess, a familial resemblance there.
Love it. Love it. That's what you see.
Perfect. So I kind of pause on him real quick right before I go. I see him out of the corner of my eye, and I kind of pause on that real quick. And I go ahead and turn back and I go click. Hey, his sword's got nothing kind of on it, just some astral sensors that would pick me up if I walked inside.
And I think you feel on your, you feel on your shoulder my hand as you go to move, and I turn you around. Like, are you okay, son?
And as you see that the light behind the astral turns off, the light that's around my face dims out, and the glasses go back. They actually turn back from a dark shade that you see them, and actually flickers back on a couple shades brighter, so I can actually look him and he can see my eyes now. It's like, yeah, I'm just fine. I was just looking at the shop.
Okay.
All right.
Looks clear, and I relay that it does look clear.
Yeah.
And I click my earlobe. Is this thing working?
We've got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we clear to knock on the door?
Good enough for me.
I think we're fine.
You put
I think
the
so,
order
too.
in?
Let's go.
Let's go shopping.
Okay. As you do that, you all within the matrix see Frenchie kind of go like this and listen, knowing that there's somebody at your shop that you have to attend to.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
And all of a sudden he clicks out, fizzes out of the matrix, and he comes to the door and he opens the door for you.
You know who we are.
I was expecting you. Yes, thanks for coming.
Right. Can we come in?
Yeah, of course. It's a shop. Buy as much as you can.
Yeah, two things. One, I need cigars. Real ones, not this fake shit.
Okay, I think I can do that. Let me go get them in the back.
Great. Two, you don't treat friends the way you treat Liv.
Sorry?
You don't treat friends the way you treat Liv. They ain't money-making opportunities.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's kind of what I do. Can I? And he's totally caught off guard. Yeah. Sorry, Liv. Let me go talk to her. Even I'll apologize right away. I'll apologize.
No need. You just take care of her. There are keyboard warriors in this world. There are a few real ones left. You're looking at one. I'm not paying for these fucking cigars either.
Scared out of his mind. He goes back to the Matrix mode with his chair and connects. So just had a visitor, Liv.
You good?
And I just want to say thanks for sending the squad party or whatever they are in the front. Yeah, I got all the gear you need. Next time.
I'm sorry, was there a problem with my squad party?
No, they're great. But maybe next time, maybe a little bit of warning. We've been doing this for a while together.
Did we not say we were going to go pick up stuff that we were ordering?
Yeah, I just did not expect for the pickup to be free cigars.
Listen, I don't know what deal you guys made. That's none of my business. But we did tell you we were on our way.
That's fair, I guess. Well, just
We good though?
Oh,
we good?
Oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. No, of course. Come back anytime.
Okay.
Seriously.
Hey,
No.
click. Is this thing on?
Yeah.
We've got you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Liv,
What?
you trust this guy?
Yeah. What'd you say to him?
Don't worry about it. I think he can help us.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he. I'm saying this right in front of your face, by the way. Yeah, I don't think he was the double crosser. I think
He seems pretty clear to me too.
he seems clear. Yeah.
I think we can use him to get to Skelly.
I think you're right.
Well, I think this would be a nice time to test his loyalty.
I agree.
As I look like right at you as I say.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's my loyalty. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. So he is someone who's not tainted like we are, but he can send messages or do things, reach out to people on the outside. I think that's a benefit. If I'm picking up what you're putting down, then I need to go back and pick up some of the meat sacks that we left behind so that we're all in the same place.
So you're literally going to go pick up what we put down.
I'm literally going to pick up what
Cool.
you put down. So I'm going to take the drone,
Yeah.
go to the vehicle,
Yeah.
jump into the vehicle.
Yeah.
Jump out of the drone, jump into the vehicle, and go back and pick them up.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. That's
Do
gonna take a
we
little
grab
time.
the stuff then?
Yeah. So while you do that, what do you guys want to pick up? We'll just take care of the shopping real quick.
I'd like to pick up some updates to my, like some better armor of some kind, like
Okay.
something that will, because I'm squishy
Okay.
as.
I will search it for
And
you.
is it possible to get something akin to smoke bombs and breathing apparatus that are not too
mask.
bulky?
Yeah, yeah.
Gas
Yeah.
mask?
Oh,
Yeah,
like a
some of
gas
you have gas
mask?
masks. I will find a gas mask for the rest
Okay.
of you.
I don't know if I have one. I might have one
do I
already. Oh, I already have one. Never mind. I already have
You
one.
needed?
I knew that.
I really don't
I
know.
think we all do. We all have gas masks.
Fair.
Smoke
so.
grenades
Like
are
some-
50 yen each.
Okay, I'll take.
Stun grenades are 100, and frag grenades are 150 new yen.
I got 10 smoke grenades
Alright.
that I'm
10 smoke
attaching to my vehicle and my drone.
Okay.
Ooh, you could shoot them out like a Batmobile.
You better
I'm
believe
gonna
it.
take
I'll take.
5 of each.
I'll take 2 frag and 2 flash.
Hoping not a lot I can get to you. I probably gotta get to my magic dealer.
I like getting up close and
At some
personal.
point.
And armor-wise,
Oh yeah, I guess we can buy new armor, can't we? We're kind of all banged up on our last ones, aren't we?
yeah, you can get it repaired.
All I've got is a coat.
How much would it take to repair armor?
So you can spend points to do it.
Oh,
plot
right.
points if you want, or you can pay somebody to do it.
Let's say he's right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
plot
he's right there.
points
But you would
for-
have to leave your armor with him, and he would
Oh.
have to.
We can go see my guy.
Yeah, you got
He's
something.
pretty good with that kind of stuff.
Is there a device, like maybe a bracelet or something that you wear on your watch that you could activate and it forms like a shield to like
Oh.
take some incoming damage? Like some sort of kinetic barrier.
Sorry, say it one more time.
So something like some device or a bracelet or a watch, you press a button if as
To
like
create
a reaction,
force field.
Yeah.
like a kinetic barrier.
Yeah, let's take a
to
look.
Soak up some damage.
Yeah. Okay. So while we're doing this, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back after our little shopping experience.
Woo!
Come back.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you again for watching the show. And we're here with Realmsmith featuring Shadowrun Excommunication. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today because I'm Rem Alternus. I'm the Community and Marketing Director for Catalyst Game Labs. And part of my job is to explain to you fine folks what is a Shadowrun. So to talk through it, we're gonna take it into some chunks here. So first of all, Shadowrun is a cyberpunk fantasy tabletop role-playing game. So think Blade Runner meets The Matrix meets Lord of the Rings. You've got the fantasy element, you've got the cyberpunk element, you've got all the good stuff mixed in together. It's a very dark world. The cyberpunk piece of it, we are 60 years in the future at this point, and we are dealing with a whole lot of issues we know nothing about in the 2020s, such as mega corporations with too much power and sway in the world that are making decisions that hurt the general population. The world is dying and people are treated poorly. Shadow runners are survivors that are outcasts of society that are forced to perform criminal jobs in order to feed themselves. So they're survivors running the shadows and providing some of these mega corporations with deniable assets to get the jobs done that they want off the books. Meanwhile, we've got the magic element in it. So we've got our elves, our orcs, our trolls, we've got fae, we've got pixies, we've got Sasquatch, we've got all kinds of meta types, as they're called in Shadowrun. And basically we have a timeline that has happened where magic gets re-released or reawakened in the world. And what happens is that children start being born with pointed ears, tusks, whatever it might be. And there's also an event called goblinization, where people born as normal humans hit puberty and all of a sudden they go through horrifically painful bodily transformations where they start getting dermal plating on their skin, their bones stretch and grow and get more dense, and they become trolls or whatever their metatype is. At the same time, magic is also getting released into the world, and people are found occasionally that they have special powers. So you have mages in the world, you have adepts that can boost their own stats magically and be more charismatic or be faster or be stronger, whatever the case may be. Like the Iron Fist. From there, you have dragons have reawakened in the world, and all kinds of mythical creatures are
back in this world. So you have spirits, you have dragons are largely, they can shapeshift and they can become CEOs of corporations. Many of them are. They are incredibly powerful. Rule number 1 of Shadowrunning is never deal with a dragon. Number 2 is geek the mage, because they're really powerful too. So, you know, keep that in mind. So as we go through here, I thought I would just share a little bit with you of some of the Shadowrun lore and events, and you can see for yourself how similar or dissimilar it's been to our current world. So in 2001, the Shiawase decision in the U.S. Supreme Court gives multinational corporations the same rights and privileges as sovereign governments. So basically, megacorporations can enforce policies of their own and basically help control like governments do. Realizing in 2002 that they had only been half-heartedly exploiting Native Americans for the past century or so, the U.S. government puts their whole heart back into the job and lets corporations run roughshod over the resources found in Native American reservations during the so-called resource rush. This leads to unrest and resistance with serious consequences. We'll get there. In 2010, virally induced toxic allergy syndrome, or VITAS, appears in New Delhi, India. Eventually, it kills a quarter of the world's population. We're only 10 years behind that one. 2011, the awakening, or at least the beginning of it. Dragons appear, people develop talents and abilities that can only be described as magic. Babies are born in ways that exactly resemble elves and dwarves of legend, and the world reveals itself to generally be much weirder than anyone ever expected. In 2018, after the great ghost dance of the previous year, in which Native American shamans spurred national disasters, such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions across the globe, the United States and Canada agreed to the Treaty of Denver, in which large portions of both nations are given to Aboriginal populations to become the various states that make up the Native American nations of the Western Hemisphere. In 2021, we're almost caught up. A process known as goblinization, which I talked about. Some adults spontaneously mutate into creatures that become known as orcs and trolls. A wider range of forms emerge as time passes. People react with fear and loathing, which after more than half a century has generally eased to fear and extreme distaste, though some people prefer to stick with loathing. Dwarves, elves, trolls, orcs, and the like are collectively labeled meta-humanity, though sometimes the label is broadened to include all forms of human-like life, including humans themselves, which irks the troll haters to no end. And we'll wrap up at 2030. So in 2029, the Matrix, the interconnected wonder of the computer world, crashes and crashes hard. The virus that caused the crash takes years to eradicate, and the whole dynamic sets the stage for cyber warfare in years to come. And finally, in 2030, after losing a lot of territory to the Native American nations, the remnants of the United States and Canada merge to form the United Canadian American States, or the UCAS. In subsequent years, the Free State of California, the Confederation of American States, and the Caribbean League claim parts of what used to be the United States. This mirrors political fracturing and realignment occurring around the world. So that is just a little glimpse. We have dates that go all the way to 2077 in the Shadowrun Anarchy book. All of our core rule books for Anarchy, for Shadowrun 6th World, for 5th edition, wherever you start, has world building and lore. So you can learn who the players are, what the events are, and build your campaign around these events. It is a rich system with tons of history. The game has been around 34 years at this point, so there is no end to the stories that you can experience and tell on your own. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining all of us here at Realmsmith and sponsoring the Shadowrun Excommunication stream. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back. All right, we did a little bit of shopping. Y'all picked up some stun grenades. Stun grenades?
Stun grenades.
Smoke grenades?
Smoke grenades.
And you picked up frag grenades as well?
Frags to flash. Yeah.
Okay. Are you picking up armor? We decided against
I think
real armor.
I'm nervous about being slowed down, so I'm just going to stay with my coat.
Okay. And then
I am
when interested in some sort of a force
Some sort of like a
shield.
device that can project a kinetic field.
kinetic field.
Yeah.
To soak
And
damage.
he'll look into that for you.
Great.
And so he'll come back to you
We'll take
when he
two
tries
for
to source it.
one.
Oh, okay.
And at this
We'll
point,
go with all-
at this point, we'll also say you've gotten the meat sacks. You're all back at the shop.
Excellent.
In meat space, is that okay? You guys can come out of the matrix and be in meat space, or do you want to still be in the matrix?
Do we need to still be in the Matrix? I don't
In
think
fact,
we do.
remember that you sense that there are
Yeah,
people.
we gotta get out of it. We gotta get out. Anyway.
Although Glorp is like, I would also like some cigars.
All right. So
yeah, so
you're
I'm
back in meat
noticing-
space in the shop.
Yeah, so because I'm noticing so many people paying attention to us, I think it's time for us to
yeah,
get
we
out.
should probably split.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Whip around, take them back, and I guess we're all back in the shop then.
Yep.
Where'd you
Please
get
do.
these?
Excuse me, sorry.
Where did you get these?
I sourced them from lots of places. I can't divulge my sources, as of course this is my work.
They're really good.
You're welcome for taking them for free.
Are you giving these out for free?
No,
Yeah, he is.
no. Wait. I was just saying, yeah. Those ones are on the house.
Thank you.
So, Frenchie,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a little plan for you. Make you a little more money.
Okay, you've got my attention.
We have an offer we can't refuse, and when I say you can't, I mean you cannot.
Well, can
what
I...
she really means is, and fire comes out of my hand, you really should refuse her.
No.
no,
There's
no,
no
no,
need
no,
for
no,
threats
no,
because
no.
we've established how
Oh,
much
yeah.
We're
how friendly we
friends,
are.
How friendly we are.
What?
I
Real
am
friendly.
As
a
far as
little flustered by the
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first, how about you put the deal in front of me and I'll tell you if it's profitable enough for me.
Someone fucked us. Fucked us hard.
Okay.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. The bad way. We need to know who.
There's a price on our heads. A bounties, obviously, you've already heard from everyone, and we want to find out why. We want to find out who set that up and who set us up.
Okay.
And the only way to draw them out
This with your help.
is with your help if you claim that bounty.
Oh, I get it. You want me to be the guy who brings all of you guys in?
Calls us in.
Yes.
We'll talk you through the next part.
I'm super curious myself. That would be really fun. Except too expensive for what you're offering, I can tell you already.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you don't have enough money walking around with you to be able to pay for my life. There's no way I'm gonna do this, not a chance.
To be able to pay for your life, there's 50,000 a head on our heads. How expensive is your fucking life?
No, I just mean, I'm assuming that you're not gonna let me keep the bounty.
We could talk about that, but there might be a step before that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's someone we all know who we need to talk to, we can't get access to at present moment.
Skelly.
Do you know Skelly?
You do.
Do I know
Yes.
Skelly?
So you've heard of him. You have done some dealings with him.
Yep.
He's kind of a low-level fixer who is trying to make it up in the world. He's known as a bit of a shark, a bit of a rat, and because you keep such a close eye on Liv and the team, you know how you've heard that he's connected in some way to them.
What are fixers called in Shadowrun again? They're called Mr. what?
Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
There you go.
Yeah. There's actually a difference between like a fixer and Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson's like a glorified fixer. They're like
step up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's a step
Oh,
up.
like a
Wants to
step
become-
up.
yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
He wouldn't be caught red-handed in a room with us. That's where you come in. You need to call and tell him you got a job worth his weight in gold. Or,
Set up a meeting with
yeah,
him.
you get him here so that we can have a proper conversation with him.
Well, okay, I mean, in theory, it sounds pretty good. But for seriousness, what's my take in the whole thing? You know? What do I get out of it?
Well, if you don't go off script, then you keep your life.
5,500 yen.
And 5,500.
That's a lot.
From each of you, that's a great deal.
From me alone.
From just you,
You're
it's
gonna
also...
do this because it's the right thing to do because she's your friend, right?
Of course. I mean, I was just kidding.
What were we saying? 5,000 yen?
No.
Oh, that
55.
sounds great. 5,000 yen sounds fucking fantastic, doesn't it?
It sounds better every minute you talk. Sure, fine. 5,000. I'll do the bounty. I'll take half of whatever the prize money is in the end, and then, sure, okay, let's do it.
I'll tell you him later.
Okay.
So yeah, you just contact Torin. Let him know you've got a job for him you need to meet.
Specs are secret. Top secret. Can't be diverged over the matrix. Needs to be talked about in person. Old way.
In my meat. You want me to go meet with someone in the meat,
You
in
can.
the flesh?
You
You
can.
want him to come here.
You want him to come
Yes.
here.
Oh, shit. Here?
Yeah.
You want Doran to come here?
Yeah.
Well, we can't risk you going over there. That's far more dangerous.
You're safe
his
here.
guy.
We
You're
saw what
safe
you
here.
have.
Yeah,
All the
but
surveillance.
he's not exactly the kind of clientele I keep in the shop, but I guess...
I'm sure you could inform him of some product he's probably looking for.
You know, I have been looking to improve the shop, and maybe he'd consider it. I mean, okay. I'll put out the word, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we need to move this fast.
Okay.
It has to happen.
So 5,500
Right away.
then?
5,500.
Okay.
Excuse me. You got this.
Are you all right?
He's fine. It's fine.
Let's do it.
He's not fine. I can tell he's not fine. And I can tell that you're trying to cover something.
Just
for him.
let him be.
Don't lie to me, though. If I can tell that he's not fine, you don't need to lie to me about it. You're not fine. And we can all tell.
All right, cards on the table, son. I'm dying. I've been dying a long time. I ain't gonna die today. We don't need to make a thing of it.
Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
We'll fix it. Thank you for covering for him, or at least trying. It says a lot about you.
Having noticed this, he pulls the box out and he goes, okay, one more cigar. Hands it over.
No wonder you're giving your money up so easy.
Right. So can we speed this along? Can you put us in touch with him?
Well, I'll
Not
put,
us. Can you put yourself in touch with him? We're not involved.
yes, of course. That's understood. Yeah, I'll make the call right away.
Okay. How do you want to do that?
So I'll
Use your comm link to just text him. Do you want to call him? Do you want to send an email?
yeah, I'll go
Yeah, came
super
back,
old
came back.
school and
Yeah.
email him.
Yeah, messenger
One quick-
pigeon.
Yes, snail mail.
Yeah.
No, so yeah. So how? So
Dial up.
you do have his contact information.
Yeah.
So you can just send him a text or communicate with him that way, or you
Yeah.
can give him a call.
Yeah, I'll send him like an SMS message.
Okay. It comes back undelivered, like non-deliverable.
Oh no.
Okay, do I let them know that?
It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't. I'll attempt another method first.
Okay. You want to call him?
Yeah, I'm gonna call him.
Okay. It says this number is no longer in service.
Son of a bitch.
I'm now fearing for my life.
Yes.
Okay. As you can see, I messaged him on my phone or on my device, and I'll show them the record that I did that. I also tried calling him. He's not. The phone or the number, sorry, on the other end is not connecting. I used to
What
have
do you
his
mean not?
contact.
What do you mean not connecting?
Well, it's just not going through. It says the number's no longer active.
So
He's in the
either
wind.
he's either gone or he's
On the
gone.
Yeah.
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 Right. Is there any other way to track him? If I
mean-
if I were to hack in, could I track him?
You can absolutely try.
I mean,
I think we need to.
can your boy Grog, whatever the hell his name is, can he
Glorp.
clean up after me, Glorp? Can he clean up after me if I go in?
Sure. I mean, for a limited time, like he can't just hang out and cover all of your tracks at all times because, but he'll Kill
I just want to go in and see if I can track Skelly.
Okay. Would this mean that I would have to also be in the Matrix then for Glorp to go in? Yeah. All right. That means we'll go in and Glorp can cover your tracks and maybe we can catch what was on his surveillance cameras. Maybe we can see something. We could maybe see if he tried to flee. Maybe somebody was there visiting.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, either something.
These cameras. We saw that camera in his office.
Yeah, we did. So if we're able to hack into his cameras, we can see either if he was offed or if he left.
That's a plan.
Let's do that.
Or who came to see him when we left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna hack into. I can hack into his cameras from afar.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. AR VR.
Before we go, like, hey, Glorp. Yeah. I'm gonna have to ask you to finish up your smoke break because you're still on the clock, buddy. What does this mean? You know what? We're gonna unionize one of these days. You can't just keep doing this to us. I'm not here working for you more than 14 hours. I'm like, listen, it's been like, what, an hour? Not even an hour. Get off your lazy ass and follow her around and let's just cover her tracks, okay? Yeah, whatever, you dumb bro. Like mumbles under his breath and we're good to go.
All right.
I should go in VR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you did earlier, you in VR, you open a door and you got to snap the two.
Yeah, I'll be there to help get through the doorways, but you know, when it comes to seeing the cameras and what's on there,
That's good.
That's triggered.
Yeah.
Use your track thing if you're tracking. So you can use your track ability.
Frayne, you should patch out and see if there's anyone outside, anyone following us from the last.
Yeah, I'm gonna be eyes outside.
5.
Okay.
Where are we at currently? Back at the warehouse, or are we at the boutique store?
We're at his boutique.
Right, his boutique store.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So currently, using your track ability with a 5, you're able to kind of jump in, and you start to look for, and the place to start typically would be to see what. I don't know where that was. Siri jumped in. Weird.
Andrew's trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Right. You it would be like to see if he pings off any servers. And so if any of his, whether it be bank cards or security cameras or anything has detected him, you get a list. The club security camera pinged him right around the time that you met him the first time when he briefed you on the job. Street cams leaving the club pinged him. You have a comlink like location service that tracked him, and then you also have police records that surround him that his names are linked to go even further. So this is like user access to go further. So basically you've broken into kind of like the infrastructure like database to find out where he's pinged. And now to get admin access to any of one of those things, you'll have to track further.
Roll again.
The last.
Can I give her? So actually, a question for you. Can I give her a bonus because I technically still have a cred stick that Skelly gave me.
Oh.
So I got paid in a cred stick.
I don't know how much you'd get from a cred stick though.
I have no idea.
Also, Glorp can hack. So I could put him to work and help hack into stuff.
Sure. So if you want to dig deeper, then he can also try to hack, and then you can add to that.
Okay.
Nice.
So 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You can add 3.
Okay. Plus I have one more.
You add 3
before I re-roll 2, and then I add 3. Jesus.
A lot of dice.
Oh, dice.
Fuck. All right. It's 3.
Not great, eh?
Not great.
I'm gonna say with 3 successes.
Is that with mine?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. Not good.
I gotta find a better way to
he was tagged leaving the club with his 2 personal bodyguards, and you can actually watch the footage. And this was the club footage. You then can see street camera footage of him recorded him walking a little ways, and then you see something following him, another individual, shadowed individual following him after.
Yeah.
A camera up the road catches him running, followed by one of his bodyguards. He left with 2.
Yeah.
And then cams lose track after that. You can't get access to his comm link, and you can't get access to the police records.
And that was outside of his
Or you
club.
haven't been able to get.
That was outside of his club.
And then that was
A couple of blocks outside
yeah,
his club.
the club that he rented the room at, and then just up the street from there.
How soon was that after we left him? Or was it just
what's the timestamp on that?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're communicating everything to the.
I was just gonna say,
okay. It was right after. So he left before you all did, said don't stay too long. This room is expensive, I'm paying by the minute.
Right.
And then he left. So it was right before you all left.
Oh.
Guys, this is bad. He's gone, and not gone, and he's dead. I'm gonna assume he's dead. Someone followed him, offed one of his guards, and then we can't find anything about him. And it was right after we met him.
Did you see who was following him?
No, some figure, some dark figure was following him
Outside of the club.
you said
outside of the club.
you said only one of his guards was with him.
Only one of his first there were 2, and then 1 gone.
But the second
Where's the other
guard,
guard?
where's the other guard? Is it still not in the building?
No, he left with
He
2.
left with 2, and then on the next camera there's only 1, and he's running, and so's the other guard.
So
Gotcha.
we're presuming that the other guard's dead.
I'm gonna
Yes.
make that guess. Yeah.
One
we
got
go-
taken out, they're on the run, and then his signatures
Gone.
disappeared.
Okay, I have a thought here.
All
Why
right.
don't we go find... We know that there are cameras everywhere in this forsaken city. We go look at the cameras around the club and see if we can find out who was following him. And or piece together whatever the hell happened afterwards, right? You can hack into the cameras around the club, the other storefronts, lighting fixtures, all that shit. We can try and get in there and piece together the rest of the story.
Can I, while I'm already here, hack into other cameras anywhere?
Those are the only cameras that pinged him.
Big damn.
There's
The
no
only
anything
ones.
else on
What
the
about,
database.
but if what about ping the guard?
What about can I
Yeah, what about the 2 guards?
the guard or the person following?
That was all of it.
That was all we got.
But if we go to...
And those were just the increments of the cameras that they followed
Right.
until they were
Until
gone.
Basically,
they
you're
got-
saying what we're asking for, we essentially just did.
We just
Yeah.
called it
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
You got all the data you could from cameras. There's
Well,
still
yeah.
comlink, and there's still police records, which
His
you couldn't
comm link
get.
is
Yeah,
his personal comment?
can I when you say police records,
The police database. Like, you weren't able to hack into the police database.
Like
you
Lone
didn't
Star?
roll well enough to be able to log into the Lone Star police
Okay.
If
database.
a bodyguard
Can
was
I-
offed in the street, that's got to be on police record.
That's
I
true.
was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say,
true.
can I try to hack
You
in
can
again?
try again.
And can
Yep.
Glorp
Remember
assist?
that you now have 2 marks.
All right.
One to get user access, and then now 1 to get admin access.
We also,
Yeah.
while
And
we're-
those successes would count towards it. So it was 3 the second time. How many successes did you get for the user access? Do we remember?
5.
So 8 more on your God score.
so
8 more on my God score?
Yeah.
Shit.
It goes
okay.
to 40. So
All right.
but-
I'm at 18.
But
Glorp
it
is
would be
gonna clear
minus
me
3
up.
from Glorp, right?
Yeah, so that's
No, the last
16.
3 actions.
The last 3 actions.
every time. So and how often
every
does that
time
happen?
he erases
3
3.
actions.
Yeah, every time, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So then,
yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
then I lose another 3, so
Yeah.
it's back to 12.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Thank you,
and then,
Glorp.
and then Glorp's going to assist on the hacking for the police.
Okay.
while you're in the police thing, because they showed up way faster than they should have.
Shit.
Yeah.
They got information on us, and maybe you can pick up whatever files they have on us
Yep,
while you're
yep,
there
yep,
too.
yep. Okay, so wait. 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, I got
6, 7,
nothing.
8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I need 12 by myself. Oof.
Oh.
You have my luck now.
All right, great.
Okay,
we're
okay,
fine.
okay.
We're fine. And then I need 1 more. Okay, so this is by myself, but that's not more than half. And then I re-roll 2 dice. Come on. And then I get your 3.
There's 3 from before, or do I have to roll again?
Roll again.
Roll again.
Okay, because okay.
Okay.
Two successes from there.
2?
More.
Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker. Does that
That-
count?
that's a 6.
I'm gonna say that counts.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're still safe. We're
Okay.
still safe.
How many is that then?
4.
4.
So stressed
You had 3 before. You have 4 this time.
Yeah.
4 allows you to at least get access to his phone records, his comm link.
Okay.
Does not allow you to get access to the police records yet.
Damn, rolling so bad. Like,
Well, did you add her successes
retiring
in?
these. Sorry?
Did you add her successes in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Torrens comlink, his signal goes dead at certain coordinates that you now download and have at a specific spot on a street, a couple blocks from the last camera footage that was captured.
And we know that
Gotcha.
location. She
Wait,
knows that
She knows
location.
that location.
Wait, so his comm link goes
So we
dead
know
at
where
specific
his-
coordinates.
Yeah, we know where his comlink goes dead, which is where I assume he either goes dead or gets picked up.
But if he goes dead, we got someone that can jump into the astral plane and maybe see whatever wandering spirit is left behind.
Oh.
God damn, son.
You
So we
just
need to
one
know that.
Shadowrun.
Now we're thinking with portals.
Yeah.
Why,
great.
yes.
So good.
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
So good.
Frayne, is that something we can do remotely, or do we have to go there for him to go to look at the train?
I would either have to leave my body and leave to there, which
He has
does
to do
take
astral
time.
projection and then travel there,
okay,
or
right.
you all go there and then he does that.
Well, you got to stick
Well,
together.
I feel like we have to absolutely stick together.
Yeah, let's all go. That way we could protect him, and then maybe there's other clues around that we could
Yeah.
pick up at
I
the
would
same
love
time.
to look around.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right about the guard. There's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
record
yeah,
of
yeah.
whatever happened to those 2 people.
I'm sorry, guys. I did my best.
No
you're doing
apologize.
great.
No,
No
you did great.
apologize.
Hey,
So
I'm gonna blame it on
5,500. We'll call it even.
Yes, Frenchie, you got your money, right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Frenchie's
it.
been like tagging along the whole time. like, when am I gonna get
hey,
paid?
that money buys your loyalty and your silence.
I would not be in the business if that was not the case.
Because
That's
we're
true.
watching on every plane.
he just sneaks backwards. Okay. And
I love
goes
it.
away.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on Frenchie for this episode.
So
I just love that accent so much. I just want to hear him
Oh, no,
say it.
we'll,
how is Frenchie
Oh,
spelled?
we're gonna have to put
Frenchie, like it would be, i.e.
i.e. He would
Like
have
the
to do
dog.
that.
He's a fixer.
Yeah.
He's a gear. I have a as gear supplier.
Gear supplier.
Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. All right. Okay, so the plan is to try and go there in meat space and see
Yes.
if you can find.
Yes.
Okay.
Sneaky, sneaky like.
So let's
I'd
just.
like before we get in the car, like
Yeah.
as we're prepping to get in the car and everything, out of earshot, I think I will limp over to Liv and I just want to. I didn't mean to speak on your behalf when it comes to Frenchie. I just didn't like the way he was exploiting you. I feel like we've experienced enough of that today.
Well, there was definitely no offense taken. I really appreciate you sticking up for me. Nobody really does that often.
Nobody really does that at all. That's why we're in the shit we're in now. I don't mean us, I mean this place.
Well, I guess for better or for worse, we're stuck in this, and just know I have your back. And everyone here.
Everyone does. And I snapped at you both earlier. I'm sorry about that, but I don't like secrets. I've got a lot of people in my past that have kept a lot of secrets from me, and I just don't like it. You don't gotta hide stuff from us. We're in this together.
Guess now might be a good time to tell you guys what I saw in the apartment then.
What?
Well, as soon as I hacked in, everything in the room changed. And it looked like my place. My clothes, my life. It wasn't the room we stepped into, it was my room. It wasn't just us they framed us, but they framed me. They got my everything. They had my life.
Well, who'd you piss off?
I'm a hacker. Who the hell knows?
How would they, and as like I'm just Liv is hearing all of this, is there something I know about the Matrix that like, how would this be possible to do? Is this a virus, like a program that does this,
Sure.
or is this?
So the physical stuff would have been taken from your apartment. So somebody went there, cleared out your stuff, and
So there
planted
was
it in the apartment.
physical shit from
Yeah.
here.
And then the pictures and the stuff on the computer would have been hacked, and that's what Bitbucket is tied to.
So they've been to my home. I can't go back. I don't have anything but what's on my body.
I mean, well, if it's, I know it sucks to hear like, well, you can stay with us. I know it doesn't fix the fact that like your privacy got immensely invaded, and
I'm a hacker.
so
I
sorry
know
for
that there is no privacy in the world.
Yeah, but like, it's one thing to have like physical things taken from your home and in
Look,
whatever this is.
It's
We're
nothing
gonna.
new. It's nothing new for me. I just wanted to let you know. No secrets. There it is.
I mean, do you think this is like a personal thing?
yeah.
I mean, like personal to you. Like, do you have someone? Do you know?
To be honest
someone
with
who
you,
would do this to you?
Not that I haven't been up to now. I just was trying to figure out whether I needed to share it. Seeing the outlaw. We have a history.
Yeah, you do. You can crash there like I do. You don't.
No.
Oh,
We
wait,
have
wait.
a history.
Like a history?
No, we have a history!
Oh, okay.
And it's not a good one. It's from a previous job. It didn't go well.
Torin didn't give it to you, did he?
No. But the point is, the outlaw's the only one I know. Who knows? Besides the people that gave us that job. He's the only one that knows that the job went south because he's the only one that...
But I thought...
He's the only one that survived.
So are we not trusting him now? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
we're trusting him, absolutely.
But he
It's
knows
just that-
he knows something.
If someone is coming after me specifically, maybe we can talk to him and see if there's
Okay.
some connection to what I did, to how I screwed up again. Maybe there is someone after me. Maybe you should just let me go so
No.
they don't come after you
No,
more.
fuck that. We're past that.
This is personal now.
Man, we're all stuck in it.
I'm sorry. I know I say it a lot, but I have reason to.
Listen,
None of us have any
we all
reason
do like illegal shit to eat at the end of the day.
Yeah, but we don't.
Let me ask you a question. Why does a rat hunt in the trash?
Is this food
Is
there?
this rhetorical? I'm not
Because
really good
we
with
don't
rhythm.
give food to the rats. They gotta hunt the trash. Same thing with us. We ain't doing nothing wrong. This world ain't for us. It ain't for me. Hasn't been for me in a long time.
Believe me, I feel that.
So we stop apologizing. Right now, we decide we're gonna take back what's ours.
The only thing I've got that's mine, that I want back, is my name. I don't care about anything else. All I've got is this job.
Not anymore. None of us. We're not alone anymore. We can't be if we're gonna be successful. We falter, we die. They don't want us alive.
I don't know.
Agreed.
I think that whatever was going down, we were set up and they knew that the hacker on our team was going to be the one to plug into that. That was all by design.
Yeah.
They knew we were going to that place
Yeah.
specifically for us.
They
And
said
it
it was a
was-
complete setup. Completely. That confirms it. Having all of your, I mean, that's it.
But why you and not? We're still at the safe house, right?
We're
We
still
haven't
at
left.
we're still at the store.
We're
No,
at
but
French-
geez.
Oh, that's right. We're still at the store. That's right. We're at the store. I'm gonna try to communicate with Outlaw because this is new information.
Sure.
And why are they after you and not him? He survived that too.
It was a
Maybe they're after all of us, but they were sending a message because you're the hacker.
I'm trying to reach out to Outlaw,
Okay. So how do you like to do that? You want to call him? Do you want to text him?
calling him like I normally do.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
There's no answer at the moment.
There's no answer.
No.
Is that
In like a
usual?
normal way? In like a, hey, please leave a voice
it
message.
goes to his voicemail.
Okay.
He's not starting his next job until tomorrow.
That's what he said. Yeah.
He could be asleep.
Could be on his
Yeah.
way.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll try him later. I know that time is of the essence, and we need to go back to that location where Skelly was last. We think.
Yeah.
Seen or
Before the trail gets
Right.
cold.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the coordinates since you're the vehicle.
Okay. Which coordinates you're going specifically to where his phone
Where his
comm went dead?
dead,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Is that right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
That very last one.
So should we do those coordinates and be like a hair's length away, or do we want to just go? Because we want to make sure that he can check on the astral plane, but we don't want to be in that exact specific
So
space,
we
right?
wait
Say
a block away.
I just gotta be near. I just gotta be near.
couple blocks away.
Two, 3
Nearby.
blocks away.
Okay.
Now, is there any way of altering the appearance of our vehicle?
Frenchie.
We didn't you
Frenchie,
ask for
I
that?
asked. I hope it got to you, but Frenchie. Hey, Frenchie. I asked for some sort of thing to throw over my car, like to cloak it. I hope that's included in our package. Is that included?
I will
in our
look into it.
I'll look into it. Okay.
Still okay.
All right.
To be continued.
All right.
We just got to be discreet. So I say 3 blocks away,
Yep.
and then go on foot, and in the sky.
Quick and
Okay.
quiet.
All right. You all jump into the Jeep. You head in that direction. You park 3 blocks away. It is a nondescript side street, fairly dark. You head up and you can see kind of where that coordinates are 3 blocks away. You start to move in that direction. Is there anything specifically that you want to do?
I think we just don't even need to move in that direction. We need to
sorry.
send him in astrally to take
Okay,
a
are you
look.
going to astrally project?
It's like he is like, yeah. Hold on. Of course, then of course, it looks like I'm not happy with this. And of course, I'm gonna lean back and sit down at the thing and close my eyes, and just like very much similar to how Trigger looks when she leaves her body. You see my head go like this, and then slump forward, and I'm in the astral.
Yeah. And as you do, your body kind of leaves, and then you start to move, and you're astrally projecting and not looking.
I'm astrally projecting because I'm still in the vehicle. I've got to leave this vehicle.
Yeah. So your spirit self kind of floats out of your body. You kind of look down. You see everyone's sort of essence, especially yours, which you take note of again, and then you start to move in that direction. As you move in that direction, you get to a point, and you can see that it's like a T junction, 2 alleyways, and there is a dumpster. A couple doors that lead into buildings, nondescript back doors for businesses, and like a couple manhole covers.
Nothing really standing out to me
Nothing
though.
you can see from a
Check the
cursory
dumpster.
view.
Check the dumpster.
I'll go ahead and astrally project because it's only the dumpster that I can't see into, right?
Right.
Then I'll go ahead and I'll astrally project and kind of go through the dumpster real quick, make sure I'm peeking inside there, and make sure there isn't left anything behind there, because I can't see through it. I can only actively look inside it.
Yeah. So as you kind of look inside, and you can astrally, you can move through things in physical space. So you start to kind of move through as your eyes look, and in the corner of the dumpster, you see that there is a comlink tablet that has been snapped in half. That sits at the bottom of the dumpster.
And nothing else, just the snapped in half.
Yeah, and then garbage and everything else, but it's basically been like purposely snapped in half.
Can those be recovered? Like if something was physically broken, could you try to piece it and gather and get info from
Possibly. Depends on how damaged the circuitry was inside.
it? Okay.
And he can't like tell us everything that's going on.
No.
as he's
No,
acting.
I'm by myself right now.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I take a quick peek just a little bit further down the road. I'm not seeing anything further down where maybe another camera would have been.
As you come back out of the dumpster, you kind of peek around again, and just out of the corner of your eye, you see these long, sort of like skeletal emaciated fingers outside of the outside of the manhole, kind of retract inside and disappear. And that's where we're getting this session for this.
What?
Oh, no!
Get used to the Kickstarter. That exactly the cliffhangers, y'all. They're real.
Yeah.
All right, we will see you next episode. We'll see you next week. Once again, enter Excommunication into the chat in order to win this amazing Shadowrun 6
We're going into
World
the sewers.
beginner box. As well, tune in right after this on the Catalyst YouTube channel for our after talk for this show. We'll be talking about all the wonderful things and kind of take a deep dive into some of the mechanics and some of the things that happened over there. So thank you very much. If you liked what you saw tonight, again, consider subscribing and sharing and thumb-upping.
Thumb-upping! Please do it.
Thank you, y'all, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and tuning into the Realmsmith Excommunication Episode 2 stream right before this. And now we're here with the post-show commentary. I'm Realm Alternus. I'm the Community and Marketing Director for Catalyst. I was in charge of this project. And today I've got a very special guest with me, Jason Hardy, the line developer for Shadowrun. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm getting a little bit of lag, and I know it's my fault because I'm at a hotel. So I apologize to our viewers. But it was a day of travel, and I was so excited to get here and talk about the episode and the future of Shadowrun and kind of break it down here after the show. So we won't keep everyone too long, but we had a lot go on this episode. I feel like episode 1, throw into the chaos, lone stars everywhere. How do we shoot and make skill checks and roll initiative? And this episode, we got to get a little further into the characters and especially the Matrix. The Matrix played a big role. So I kind of want to ask you some questions, Jason, about how the Matrix works. And we can kind of answer both for Sixth and for Anarchy. So those who are just joining us, Shadowrun Anarchy is the main system we use for Excommunication, which is a rules light system built off of 5th edition Shadowrun, and 6th edition is the current edition of Shadowrun. So we sprinkled a little 6th edition in with our Anarchy, like spices.
Good. Great.
So I guess, Jason, let's start off with, how do you envision the Matrix working in Shadowrun?
So I think the fun thing about the Matrix is it can work in a lot of ways. It can be kind of this open realm that you can take players to and do all sorts of weird, strange things. One of the runs that the group I played with remembers the most was a Matrix-based run, and they ended up visiting like a big vampire castle in the Matrix, and staking bodies that were actually ice, and then had some keys that they needed to do to unlock parts of the Matrix, and they loved it because it was just so open and so kind of free of some of the reality that you have to deal with. And that's what you can do in the Matrix a lot of times is forget about physics, forget about reality, and just make it what you want it to be, because it can be wide open, but you can also interweave it. And that's one of the fun things about AR that they introduced in SR4, is that you can really blend the Matrix right in with what everyone else is doing, so that the hacker has a role right alongside the spellcasters and the street Sammies, and they can actively function and do cool things in parallel with them.
I think the best iteration of AR I've seen so far in media is like Altered Carbon. Season 1, they did a really good job of like, you're walking down the street and just advertisements are in your face, lighting up all around you.
Yeah, Blade Runner 2049 does a pretty good job of it too. But yeah, Altered Carbon was great. Yeah. And then the sci-fi TV series Alphas had the one kind of technomancer-like character, but the way he interacted with the internet was very technomancer, but had kind of a good AR feel. I pull up images from Alpha sometimes when I'm doing reference material for art, so people think I can say make the arrows look like this instead of just a screen.
I love that. There. This the hot topic? I have a preference, but I want to hear from the line developer himself. Is it arrows or AROs?
I usually say arrows.
Okay,
it's quicker.
All right, and we're talking in-depth Shadowrun here. What is an ARO? Or an arrow?
It is an augmented reality object. So it's something that, if you have whatever will let you see augmented reality, glasses, cyber eyes, contact lenses, then you can get something from your comlink projected in front of you that blends in with the environment. I mean, if you played Pokemon Go, you've seen an ARO because you hold the phone up and you see that there's the Pokemon character that isn't really there, and that's an ARO. It's just in Shadowrun, you have it more in your regular field of vision than having to put up the phone up. So it could be ads, it could be decoration, it could be just cool things that people do to make the place you're in look neater. It can be a wide range of things.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the layout of the Matrix. So as the characters are kind of talking about this, and we went into this in game a little bit today, like when you go into AR or VR, which we'll talk about as well, and you're in a host. It could be your host, it could be someone else's host, a company's host, whatever it is. What is a host?
A host is just basically their big site. So that's where they put all their material. If you're going to visit whatever they have on the Matrix, whether it's their public host, so that's going to be where you go find information from them and interact, or a private host where that might be for employees so that they can share work information and find files. That's just kind of their domain where you're going to go to interact with that particular entity on the Matrix.
Okay, so that's kind of neat. So you've got your, like, here's what I want the public to see and interact with, and then here's the one we use behind the scenes for everything else. And you can have as many of those as you want. And they exist kind of as places in the Matrix.
Right.
So I can't remember which books. You're gonna have to help me with this. But like whenever I think of, like, if you were gonna go infiltrate Amazon's host, what would that look like?
So what you probably need to do is get through a few layers of hosts, because they probably have their public host, which is their main face. Their employee host might branch off of that, and then you'll have a security host, and you'll just have to navigate the network of hosts to figure out where the information you want is. Both the core book of SR6 and the Matrix rule book, Hack and Slash, have some diagrams of just different ways you might set up all these networks of hosts to work together, so you can see how they might interweave them.
Cool. Okay. Now, since we're talking about places, let's talk about distances next. So, I'm hanging out right now in Indiana, and if I wanted to go hack a host in Seattle, do I need my meat sack, as the show likes to call it? My body needs to be close. Do I just need to travel via the Matrix? Like, how does that distancing work?
So usually you're going, I mean, some of it will depend on where the location of the host is, as opposed to where their physical headquarters are, because they might put their host more accessible. But you're going to have to deal with noise, which is the farther you are away physically from your target, then the more interference you're going to have to deal with, and that's going to make it harder to hack in. So you want to get physically closer a lot of times to make it easier to do your hacking, so you can lower your noise. There's some other measures you can take to lower noise, but that's the mechanic to keep you from just hacking the world from your den. Sometimes you got to go out and do stuff.
I always imagine the noise like my hotel connection right now, where it's like skippy or fuzzy or snowy from the back TV days. And that makes it harder to access and slower to load and everything like that. So
you're trying to defeat the intrusion countermeasures, and the fuzziness is coming and it's not reacting when you're hitting destroy. So yeah.
Right. So let's talk about, we talked about places and how to get there. What are icons?
So icons are anything you will interact with in the Matrix. Almost anything has to have an icon. So that's going to be the people, the things, the sprites, the agents, the intrusion countermeasures, the files. Everything will have some sort of icon, just so you have a way to interact with it.
Does it have to be, like, a lot of what you mentioned are beings of some sort, like arguably are sprites beings, but is it just, could it be a device, like a laptop that gets left behind, or does there have to be someone logged into it?
No, it could be, as long as the device is on, like a camera, it could have an icon. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So you get to interact with these icons and get into these hosts to interact with these icons. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between AR and VR. So augmented reality and virtual reality, and how do they function in Shadowrun?
So augmented reality is going to be the overlay while you're still keeping most of your senses in the, quote unquote, real world. so that you'll still be walking around in reality. You'll just see the Matrix on top of that. VR is you're going to fully go into the Matrix, so you're going to essentially turn off your vision and hearing of the real world and go fully into whatever virtual vision is presented to you. Virtual reality hacking in Shadowrun tends to be faster and a little more powerful just because you're dedicating all of your resources to that and you're not dividing your attention. But you still can do augmented
Kind of like
reality
walking. You saying that makes me think it's almost like trying to hack something while walking on your phone and you crash into everything.
Right.
And you're like walking and breathing and everything else that you're doing, versus like, all right, I'm just going to sit in this chair and the only thing I'm focused on is the task at hand.
Yeah, it's both your mental power and your device's processing power because it's a little more difficult to map everything around you and keep the images moving with that map than it is just to create a graphical world that you are immersed in.
And to clarify, it's not just sitting in a chair and like sitting and having game night or something like that, but you're actually putting your consciousness into the Matrix.
Yeah, depending on exactly what your connection is, but you're going fully in, and you can even have a connection that lets you feel and taste and have full sensory interaction with what you encounter in the Matrix. It can be deeply wired into your brain.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about the difference then. So between Deckers and Technomancers, what's the difference between the archetypes that you can play?
So Deckers interact with the Matrix through devices. Their name comes from cyberdecks, which are their mostly illegal devices that they use to hack into the Matrix. Everyone else has comm links so that you interact with cyberdecks to let you do the illicit hacking, but Deckers depend on some sort of device to hack. Technomancers have the ability to interact with the Matrix with their brains, so they don't need any device at all. They can just have it going on with their minds and access hosts and do all the stuff they need to do with their brains.
So in the sixth world, you can now interact. A Decker could interact with the Matrix wirelessly through. Is that a data jack?
Data jack would be just an implant you get to hold some data physically on you. So it's a comm link that lets you interact with the Matrix. That's a primary device most people use for Matrix interaction.
Because it makes me think of I'm playing a version of Shadowrun that's in the 50s, so you have to actually plug in. I always think like, where's the Ethernet port? Like, plug in, and then I also think the Matrix. Like, one end goes into the wall outlet, and the other end goes into my brain, right?
Yeah, some poor slots going out there with serial connections, trying to find the right adapters. It's a nightmare.
So, but now in the sixth world, doing that wirelessly, where you don't have to have that cord. Is it kind of just like logging into Wi-Fi?
Mostly, yeah. There are some times that people keep a wired host because, Wi-Fi is open to everyone. So sometimes you might not make a wireless host, so you have to plug in. But for the most part, yeah, it's just using Wi-Fi and navigating through the system, just similar to what you would now, but a more powerful and differently architected, if that's a word, system than we have at the moment.
Okay. So a Decker, if you take their deck away, they're pretty much stranded.
Yeah.
Whereas a Technomancer, you take a deck away, they're not using it anyway. They're just going to think at it and open the garage door or whatever the case may be.
Sometimes they'll have a comm link or something as a cover just so people don't know that they're a Technomancer. But yeah, they can just do it with their brain.
So Technomancers also interact kind of like you would think with a Decker, like they have programs and stuff where they could run, the usual searches and tools that they use in order to hack, where a Technomancer doesn't really download programs into their brain. So they use what are called
complex forms. So the complex forms often have similar functions to programs, and sometimes they have their own functions that are distinct from programs, but they can still have some of that functionality through the complex forms that they use.
Cool.
They also, and a fun thing that they can do that's parallel with mages is they can summon sprites, which are somewhat similar to spirits. So they can summon these Matrix entities to perform services for them and do their dirty work while they're otherwise occupied.
How do you envision sprites? Because mine has kind of changed over the years that I've played. At first it was just a sparkle that was like kind of like a program, and you give it a command, like you give a program a command and it does it, but it's not sentient. But in Excommunication, Glorp clearly has a personality, which is funny to me because that still would have needed to be decided on by the Technomancer compiling it. So explain how does a sprite work?
Good heavens, now we're getting to the mysteries of the Matrix. How does it work? It just does. The Matrix is formed of wibbly wobbly, noosey woosey, timey wimey stuff. So it's we don't know all the implications of how resonance works and how resonance is shaped. That's what technomancers use. That's kind of the connecting bond they have from their brains to the Matrix is resonance. And we deliberately leave that a little vague. We don't want it to be magic because magic is its own thing. But we don't want to describe it too much because, not to throw too much shade. You get too detailed, and that way lies midichlorians, and no one wants midichlorians.
Yeah, now that you answer, it's a very fair answer, because when I think the same question to what is a spirit, like, I don't know, I guess magic is an easy explanation for me that my brain understands more than like the technical, like, how does laptop angry, like it mad at me right now, kind of thing.
Yep. Well, to quote what I said in SR6, magic works by Argo, Bargo, Fufara, no one knows. We don't know what it is. We don't know what spirits are. That's
So what is who's stronger, a Decker or a Technomancer?
No, I'm not getting into that one. The minute I say one side or another, there's angry people telling me why I'm wrong and other angry people telling me why they're wrong. They're both wonderful and we love them all. That's right.
The reason I ask is Jason and I kind of said, like, well, when you explain it, like, okay, a Decker's stuck using a cyber deck and a Technomancer uses their brain and can do these complex forms and summon sprites, like, what's the downside to a Technomancer? And the answer, tell me if I'm wrong on this, but the answer we kind of went with was the defense, where a Technomancer can do all this stuff without needing that stuff, and maybe can do it to an aspect more powerfully, but when they get attacked back, damage is going to their brain and not to a deck.
Yeah, it's tough for them to turn
correct?
it off. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also can look
dangerous
at some of the parallels between like Street Samurais and Spellcasters, where they both can become very powerful, but they sometimes advance in different ways. So a Technomancer is going to advance a lot more with Karma, and a Decker is going to advance a lot more with Nuyen. They're going to be able to buy better decks. They're going to be able to buy more augmentations. Augmentations aren't great for a Technomancer because that affects the resonance. And so they're not going to want to get too augmented. So the Karma builds can be really powerful, but sometimes it takes a while to get enough Karma. Whereas if you get a few good hits, you might be able to buy a fancy new Cyber deck and Cyber Jet and get yourself boosted quickly. But, whether it's the same long-term power that the Technomancer has, that's what long-term players are there to fight about.
I like the image almost of, with that description, like you've got a really good Decker and a really good Technomancer, but the Decker pulls up and looks very like humble, but has all the implants and the nice cyber deck and everything like that. And the Technomancer has nothing else to spend the new yen on, so rolls up in the really nice car and like has the nice things, lifestyle.
What you get when you don't have to spend everything on the cyber deck. I get a car.
Awesome. I'm going to use that in a game at some point where I've got a Decker and a Technomancer, and that's the difference between, and that's how you tell them apart.
Rich bastard Technomancer. I love it.
So let's talk into getting into the dangers of the Matrix a little bit. So you hack and you attack these hosts. You try to hack into these icons and stuff like that to get information or whatever you're trying to do. And we talked in the game today about marks, which is a little more 5th edition than 6th edition. But can you explain what that is and how it works?
So marks are when you kind of put your mark on a host to show that you're hacking into it. The more marks you get, the more you can do in that host. So there are certain actions that require, 3 marks, certain actions that require 5. So the more marks you get, the more you can do. We didn't totally go away from that in 6th edition. We just kind of changed the levels and streamlined them a little bit. So where you might have had 3 marks to be able to do user, and I think that was the right number, but it's been a while since I've looked at the 5th edition rules. 3 marks to do a lot of user-oriented activities. We just now call that user access. And then you can get admin access. So you have those 2 levels of getting in, and then there's the basic. If you haven't hacked in, you have anyone access. So a total of 3 levels of access in SR6 versus the different levels of marks in SR5, but they all serve the purpose of showing how much illegality you're doing and starting a count of when the people who monitor illegal stuff in the Matrix are going to start paying attention to you. So the more
we're going to get to that.
Doing, then the worse it's going to get for you. And as you see, my guest has joined me in the ladder behind me.
Hello. Hi, AC.
It's past her bedtime, and she should go to bed. Yeah, you go brush.
I just want to. Speaking of illegal activity. Bye.
Tough to keep her away from camera.
So it's interesting that you have to leave a mark to get access. The more marks you leave, the more control you get. But the riskier it is that someone's going to find you and start hitting back.
Exactly.
And are these marks left? Like, okay, great. I did the thing. I hacked the thing. I did all the access, got all the information, and now I'm out. Are those marks left behind for someone to find?
Usually they'll go away. Usually they'll leave as you go because you don't need them anymore. Unless you're trying to leave a back door for yourself, then some might stay, but usually they'll just erase when you go out.
Gotcha. So if there might be a reason you would come back, that's why there might be a mark still on there.
Yeah, if you want to leave a back door.
Okay. Because Bitbucket left a mark that that Anjali's character was able to find, Trigger was able to find.
Yeah, I think for Bitbucket, there was an extra reason in that he was leaving it almost as Matrix graffiti to say, Bitbucket was here just to kind of announce his presence. And it worked. You saw how they reacted to Bitbucket on the stream as they're like, oh, if Bitbucket was here, then we know that this is serious.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. So you hack, you do the thing, and now the people that are watching, or the entities that are watching, we've got other deckers or technomancers that could be watching, and security protocols. We have IC, and we have God, Grid Overwatch Division. So let's talk a little bit. I think we can get kind of the concept of hacker versus hacker, doing all the clickety clacks to make the things happen. So let's talk about ICE. What is ICE?
So ICE are intrusion countermeasures. They're usually set up to launch in a host in a specific procedure and order, and they will do various tasks so that you don't always have to have a person watching. You can have these programs do their things, and they will sometimes just be patrolling. Sometimes they're very aggressive and will attack, and that can be aggressive enough to do physical biofeedback damage to you if they hurt. So some of them mean business and want you out of that host quick and will hurt you badly if you don't leave.
So that feedback, that biofeedback, so I imagine it it first attacks a deck. We'll talk deckers. The deck might take so much damage that it almost shocks the decker that's plugged into it.
Right.
Okay. Another thing, too, that could happen is if it kicks you off entirely from the Matrix, it could cause dump shock. So what is dump shock?
Dump shock is just, I mean, I guess I've played Shadowrun too much. I'm like, well, it's just what it sounds like. You have shock from being dumped. What? But it's when you are abruptly kicked off the Matrix because you had so much of your brain wired into it that your brain wasn't ready to make that transition. And so it's, you know, it's like in the old days when you had a computer that you shut off before you quit all your programs, then you turned it back on again, and the computer was like, I don't know how to function anymore because you didn't quit things properly. So your brain didn't quit things properly, so it's not working for a while. Well, if Rem's going to be paused, at least it's while she was laughing. There we go. Okay, she's back.
Oh, there I am. I'm back. Okay, so we heard about dump shock. So ice can come get you and knock you off, and do really painful things to either your brain or your deck and damage your deck. Dump shock, if you unplug before you're ready, it can hurt your actual brain. It can kill you. And then let's say that you're just a super great, stealthy decker that avoids all the ice or defeats it all or whatever the case may be. What is God?
The Grid Overwatch Division. They are specifically tasked with not letting you get away with your crap. So they are extremely powerful. They are a division of the corporate court, so they go straight to the top of the sixth world, and they want to not allow illegal hacking. So they monitor very carefully for any illegal activities. The more illegal activities you do, the more likely you are to get noticed. So in both SR5 and SR6 and Anarchy, you get an Overwatch score, which as you do more illegal activities, it mounts higher and higher. And once it gets to a certain level, then God notices and says, oh, we have this much illegal activity over here. We need to send someone to check it out. So they will send one of their agents after you, and they don't play. They're not there to politely ask you to get off the Matrix. Thank you very much. They are there to kick you off and make your life difficult for all the bad illegal things you've done. You don't want them to come after you.
Yeah. I haven't really experienced in a Shadowrun game, like, it's the threat of God that's scary enough rather than seeing them show up. The only time they've gotten close to seeing the firepower that they can do is when I read Dark Resonance, which is fiction, and you should go get it. It's one of my favorite books by Phaedra Weldon. And it does a really good job of explaining kind of the Matrix and Technomancer's role in the world, which, again, my brain doesn't speak computer, so that was very helpful for me. But at one point, God gets... Yeah, it's a really good story. And at one point, God gets triggered and things are about to blow up, but you're gonna have to read about what happens yourself. But that's the closest I've seen to, like, consequences are coming. What's gonna happen? So God is like the big scary thing over watching the Matrix. Cool. So we talked a lot about the Matrix, the threats, the places, the icons, Deckers, and Technomancers. So let's talk a little bit about story. Because Bitbucket and Bull, this is not their first time in the Sixth World making an appearance. So can you tell us a little bit about who Bitbucket and Bull are?
So Bull especially, Bull is one of our friends. Bull is a great story of Sixth World perseverance. It's just a guy who started like play testing with FASA way back in the day and created a character called Bull, the best orc decker you never met, because you never met him because he's too slick. And so he's had that character for decades now, played him through multiple editions. Bull's been a fantastic demo agent. He was missions developer for a time. most recently, and this is real world Bull, not in-universe Bull. Most recently, he worked a lot on the Shadowrun Edge Zone game that we did because he loved the card game from back in the day, so he was very well equipped to help us update it and make it current. So Bull the person in the real world has always had Bull the character in Sixth World, and he's just come along and developed when Fast Jack left Jack Point at the end of SR5 or SR4. Sorry, that was SR4 that he
Fast
left.
Jack is an alias for a person. Jack Point is a place that Deckers get together.
Oh, it's a place where all Shadowrunner, a lot of Shadowrunners of all stripes get together because they share.
I thought it was just Deckers.
No, you've got Winterhawk, who's a mage, and a lot of mages. Winterhawk, Jimmy No, corporate people, adepts. Got the whole realm of people going on Jack Point. So yeah, he was the moderator, administrator of that to be a place where Shadowrunners share information. He got a bad brain disease and had to leave. And then he was succeeded by a trio of administrators. A guy named Glitch, a younger Decker named Slammo, and Bull became one of the administrators of Jack Point. So he's large and in charge. And so
awesome.
He has been around for a while, and it's always great to have the character of Bull continue through because he's been a legendary character for a long time, and also we like the person of Bull, and so we want to have him continue to pop up in games.
Bull is very sweet.
Big Bucket, I think Big Bucket was someone we developed for the Rogues Gallery deck, if I remember right. So Bit Bucket.
I know most they could be in Rogues Gallery. Most of the NPCs from Anarchy, I believe, or from Excommunication, were pulled from the Anarchy book, and Bitbucket is in there.
Okay, so that's right. It goes back to Anarchy. So Bitbucket does not quite have the detailed backstory of Bull, but Bitbucket is another quality hacker, and it's and you know how hackers are. They always want to prove themselves against each other, so they're always trying. They're like gunslingers in the Old West, always trying to see who the fastest one is and who can outgun the other one.
I'm now forever gonna imagine all Deckers are like League of Legends players that just yell at each other about who's better and who sucks. And
it's that show on Paramount about esports. Oh, what was that show called?
Sorry, League of Legends players, but also tell me I'm wrong. So we're starting to run low on time. So we learned a lot about the Matrix. I want to get to some questions, but I also want to hear from you, Jason, on like, what's it like seeing a series like this come to life with the actors and their portrayals? We got to see a little bit more of the role play aspect this game or this session. So you haven't seen the show before these episodes are premiering. So what do you think so far?
I am fanboying out. It is just so much fun to see the game happening and to see people this talented and having this much fun doing it. It's just, yeah, every time I'm seeing, just little mentions of things, of rules that we worked on and storylines and just seeing how much fun they're having, I'm just clapping giddily. So it's really exciting to see them having fun with it. And that's, one of the best parts of the job is seeing people have fun with Shadowrun and seeing people who are really good role players having fun is fantastic.
You had told me on one of the interviews we've done over the past several years, you had told me that like being the Shadowrun line developer was a dream of yours. Like you really wanted that at some point. So now that you have been at the wheel for as long as you have, what's it like to see it grow and change from edition to edition, and what comes next?
What comes next? Who knows? I don't know. I'm still making this stuff up. I don't. Not 7th edition. 7th edition is not coming out for at least a year, probably 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Just so we all know. But it's been a lot of fun, especially doing 5th and Anarchy and 6th, because they're all very different flavors of how to play Shadowrun. and they're not, neither one's the right flavor, neither one's the wrong flavor. It's just what works for you. And so it's fun to just kind of experiment with what you can do and still try to make it feel like Shadowrun. And because I like Shadowrun so much, it's really fun to put it into any different mode. And that's, we also have Edge Zone to be the card game, and Sprawl Ops to be a board game, and Takedown to be a board game. And we've got other things coming up. We did the 0-day card game. We've got all sorts of ways to play Shadowrun because it's just such a great universe to play in, and I love exploring all of that. One experiment that I'm just starting to work on is, we've always done certain core books. We've always had a combat core book, a magic core book, Decker core book, Critter core book. Critter core book will be coming out this fall. All those other core books, but what I've never done before is a face core rule book. So for all the faces and social adepts out there, so that they can have a whole big core book of rules and gear and augmentations and special things for them, different edge uses. So we're going to start working on a core face rule book that you should see next year.
Awesome.
It will be called Smooth Operations.
I love that. I there's so faces or bards from the more fantasy side of things. I've never really been interested in playing them because I've been a performer in real life, and it's like I role play to get away from who I am. So I usually play really cranky characters. But at the same time, there's some really cool things that I think you can do as a face and as an adept, a social adept, that brings so much of the sixth world flavor into it. And an example of a combination that I really loved at one point when I was playing Shadowrun missions more regularly at conventions was, is it facial mask that lets you change your face shape? So if you could imagine like the ability to change your facial structure and go incognito or impersonate someone, and then I did vocal mod, so I could just change both of those and get on a VR call or a AR call, and look like and sound like the person, but then like the body doesn't match the face. So some cool things that you can do with it. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, well, I love the psychological aspect. I love, the trying to figure out what people want and how you can push the buttons to get them to do something they otherwise might not be inclined to do. And then the con artist aspect. I'm a huge con artist fan. So talking about, how to trick people and how to make them offer you the thing that they're not supposed to want is a lot of fun. So it's going to be really interesting to work on.
Cool. So working on that, and that's what's coming for the fall, but starting next year, it is the 35th anniversary of Shadowrun. Is there anything fun coming that you want to talk about?
What am I allowed to say? So I think I'm allowed to say
I don't know the answer to that either.
I think Lauren spilled the beans on this, so I'm going to go ahead and say it and blame Lauren, and then he can blame me, and we'll blame each other, and that's how Catalyst works. So we are going to do a reprint of Shadowrun First Edition. You are going to be able to buy a print copy or PDF of SR1, but especially the print, because we've had some PDFs out there. And we are working to make it as an exact replication of the initial printing of SR1 as we can make it. So we have people hard at work on making the text, on getting the art all lined up, and so that is the goal, is that you can have a new version of SR1 next year.
And if you want to learn how to play SR1, hit the like and subscribe button both here and on the Realmsmith video, because if we can get the world to fall in love with Shadowrun for this series, maybe we can get a first edition campaign next year.
Why?
Help us out. Cool. So, gosh, Jason, I could go on forever, but I have one final question for you. What do you think of the trail of Torrin Skelly.
Okay. We all know Hollywood has long taught us that beautiful people aren't evil. Torrin is too beautiful to be evil. So I don't understand why he's called a rat and a traitor when clearly he also wears a vest, and vests are very cool. So I am outraged at this slander.
It's actually funny. So context for our viewers. Torrin Skelly is an NPC from the Rogues Gallery deck. Is that where?
Yep. Darn Fort Wayne Hotel internet.
Am I back?
Yes, you are.
Still gone. Gremlins! I have gremlins!
Gremlins quality is kicked in.
Sorry about that. The suspense was building, and I see Chad is very excited about first edition. We are all thrilled about that. So, and gosh, yeah, that art. So you were talking about Torrin Skelly and how wonderful he is. So for context, Torrin is in the Rogues Gallery NPC deck, correct? And was designed by an artist. The art is of our friend Jane here. It's funny actually because when you leaned forward at one point to tell us something, you looked like Torrin's photo in the picture.
That's the Torrin angle.
Yeah, and the hysterical part to me is I thought this was intentional. So out of the entire deck of the Rogues deck NPCs that Jason Azevedo could pick from, he chose Torrin Skelly, and I thought it was for a specific reason because it's Jason, the line developer of Shadowrun. It was entirely accidental. I didn't realize that he didn't know. And I was like, what a cool Easter egg to have the line developer be part of this series in such a major way. And Jason was like, what?
Apparently they picked him because he looked weaselly. So, all right then.
I love the accent, though. I'd like to hear your rendition of the accent that Jason Azevedo uses for this role.
I'm sure you would. You're not gonna? Not doing
Very
accents on
smart
any sort
not
of
to do
video.
that.
I sang on video once and it's haunted me for 10 years. So I'm not doing accents.
Well, so you're due for a new viral. We want this video and we want the Realmsmith series to go viral. So, it's
We do, but
really
we don't want to go viral for me looking like an idiot. We want positive virality.
Awesome. How cool. Well, really glad that you're able to make that kind of appearance in the series, even if it was entirely accidental. I think it's a really cool Easter egg to share with you and the cast and the fans. I think I saw one question pop up in chat, so we'll answer that and then call it, I think. So this is a Matrix question. Let's see here. I have to scroll up. I've got to find it.
If it's technical, I might have to break out a rule book.
I don't think it was. How do you manage the flow of Matrix and meat space combat, and or have Masteral Matrix and Astral runs with the rest of the party being bored, without the rest of the party being bored?
I usually just integrate it into normal initiative. And so there's enough stuff that the that the Astral people and the Matrix people can do in parallel with the physical people, that as long as they're taking turns, then everyone's still got an opportunity to do something pretty quick. So I don't necessarily, if everyone's doing separate things, I don't get like 3 different initiative strains, even though you do have Astral Initiative and Matrix Initiative. It's easier for me to combine them together just to let everyone have a turn rather than try to get multiple turns for some. And usually, since SR6 Matrix flows pretty quick, they can do meaningful things without having to build up too much access. They can hack in on a brute force hack pretty quick and then start doing things like manipulate drones, manipulate cameras, eject people's ammunitions, all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, marks aren't so much a thing in 6, right? Anymore?
Right. No, it's just different levels of access. You either have basic access that everyone has, or user or admin access.
Yeah, so the rules have gotten lighter a little bit for that. And of course for Anarchy, it's very cinematic. So you can make it work how you want to, but I think really it's the flavor that you want to do for your game. Like if you want it to be in initiative mode, like if the line developer of Shadowrun is house ruling initiative for Astral and Matrix, like you can do that too. But I think, another tactic could be, depending on how your table is set up in terms of archetypes, you could probably also separate, because your meat space players can't see what's happening in the astral or in the matrix. So you could technically do different sessions, or be like, hey, you guys go run and get us dinner and pizza or something like that while we do some astral or matrix combat. And that way, when they come back in, they don't know what happened, because they wouldn't know what happened. And you could be like, oh, yeah, this guy's walking around blind now because he can't seem to see for some reason. That's weird. No one even shot him yet. So you could play it in a couple different ways that work for your table.
Yeah, that would give you some fun storytelling
you.
possibilities that way. So that could be a fun way to do it too.
Anything you want to add or talk about in terms of Shadowrun, the series? Anything at all before we say goodbye for the day?
Just mainly continued gratitude for the community. It's, the Takedown Kickstarter went great. It's really fun to see people watching the stream and having fun with it. And always great to see people enjoying the greatest role-playing setting that's ever been.
Awesome. Yes, it's true. I fell in love with Shadowrun, even though I swore I wouldn't. I'm a big hypocrite.
That's okay. We'll take it.
Thanks, Scott. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, not just for the post-show commentary. Thank you for watching the Realmsmith videos. If you haven't yet, you should go check them out on Realmsmith's YouTube channel. Episode 1 and 2 are live. And for a bonus treat for you guys, Realmsmith also dropped the session 0 that we had live at San Diego Comic-Con, where we were playing full 6e rules, and it was chaos. So check it out, and it'll give you some good context for what happened before episode 1's story begins. So check that out. Follow us on all socials. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next week for episode 3 of Shadowrun Excommunication. Until next time, stay safe in the shadows. Bye, everyone.